the Lord. And having faith on the words of Narad Muni, he begins the performance of devotional service. And then we see that the same Rigari, he, what to say of, he gives up all the sinful activities. And later, after some time, when Narad Muni and Parvat Muni come, they see that what a transformation has happened in Narad Muni. What to say of killing? He was not even ready to kill the ants, to step on the ants. So this is how the kind of transformation devotional service brings. And we also have examples of the Valmiki before. You know, his life was also very. He was not able to chant the name of Lord Ram. Narad Muni told him to chant the name of Lord Ram. He was chanting Mara, Mara, Mara. But just by chanting that also, gradually he became such a great sage as Valmiki. Uh, and we have, and what this must very recently we see what Srila Prabhupada did in the life of all of us. So Srila Prabhupada went to West, and Srila Prabhupada created this miracle. He went to the West, and he brought revolution in the sinful life of the Western people, who were addicted to all bad habits: meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, and whatnot. But Srila Prabhupada, he gave the holy name. He gave them chanting of the holy name, and he gave his own association, Mahaprasad. And by that association, by hearing from Prabhupada, by his associates, gradually this sinful life, they gave up their sinful activities. They became more and more purified, and they became fixed up in devotional service. And many of them also took sannyas. So we do understand here that it very much depends upon the sincerity of the practitioner also. One has to take this, the person, the spiritual master is ready to give mercy, but how much are we ready to be committed? How much we are ready to follow with sincerity and dedication? Not for 1 year or 2 year and then later on do whatever we want. One has to take this process with sincerity, or with commitment. So this is so. And further in the purport, going ahead in the purport, Srila Prabhupada here is mentioning this very important word, kechit. The word kechit comes, kechit kevalaya bhaktya. So this signifies the rarity of pure devotional service. That pure devotional service is very, very rare. Srila Prabhupada in the purport quotes the verse, Manusyanam sahastreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvata. Out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. And out of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one know Krishna in truth. So this rarity of pure devotional service, and Srila Prabhupada now goes on describes about pure devotional service. So we'll discuss about pure devotional service and the rarity of pure devotional service as we discussed in Nectar of Devotion. So what is pure devotional service? Pure devotional service, as Srila Rupa Goswami describes, Anya bhilasita sunyam jnana karma adyanavritam anukulena krishnano silyanam bhakti ruttama. This one has to perform the devotional service anya abhilasita sunyam, giving up jnana and karma, free from jnana and karma. Anya abhilasita jnana karmani anukulena, favorably, and following the predecessor acharyas, and following the footsteps of predecessor, anusilyanam. So this is a pure devotional service, and we see that this is what Srila Prabhupada came to give. This is the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. He came to give pure devotional service. That is what he preached. Srila Prabhupada said that if I could make one pure devotee, my mission is successful. But he not only made one pure devotee, but he made many pure devotees. And those pure devotees are now making further pure devotees. So that's the Srila Prabhupada. He came to give pure devotional service, and that's what he preached, pure devotional. It is not that Srila Prabhupada went to West, and there are so many other preachers went to the West, and he could have compromised in so many aspects that people. But Srila Prabhupada, he kept the teachings of the parampara as it is, without any compromise. The purity of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he preached the pure devotional service, and then people, they took to it, and they got benefit, they accepted, and they they followed it. So we have a great responsibility. What we are trying to practice? Are we trying to practice something or whatever, or we are endeavoring to practice pure devotional service? Because if we try to practice pure devotional service, then with that is what we can give to others. But if we ourselves, we have so many other mixed desires and other things, then that's what we are going to preach. So it's for a sadhaka personally, we have to see that we should try our best, that we try to follow this. Now further ahead, Srila Prabhupada mentions, now which is the going to be a point of discussion at length, is the how this pure devotional service, the lakshanas. Srila Prabhupada mentions 3 lakshanas. Obviously, we know that there are 6 lakshanas of pure devotional service. That is क्लेशाग्नि सुबदा मोक्ष लघुताकृत सुदुर्लभा सांद्रानंद विशेषात्मा श्री कृष्ण आकर्षणी चस. So devotional, pure devotional service, kleshagni. All we need that, we know unnecessary material miseries are destroyed, and then subhada, that auspiciousness brings auspiciousness. Moksha lagutakrita, person experience happiness, and such that he compares even moksha to be insignificant, and all this. So these are the lakshanas. Now the practice of pure devotional service, actually the first thing is klesagni. Many of the times it is seen that a person may be performing for years and years, and still that klesagni has not happened, maybe suffering from so many material miseries. So one has to check, again, the point of check, that what the pure devotional service, the practice of pure devotional is so important. So now we'll come to the main discussion of ours, that how the person, he becomes free from the sinful reactions. So very famous verse of the Padma Purana, that is, Srila Prabhupada mentions, aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham kramnaiva praliyeta vishnu bhakti ratatmana. So the sinful reactions, they fall into 4 categories. Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he describes now the 4: aprarabdha, prarabdha, phala, kutam, and bijam. So prarabdha means the sinful reaction which is already manifest, aprarabdha, which is yet to manifest, has not yet manifest. Then bijam, which is in the seed form, desires, like for example, it's the sinful desire that we are, and kutam, which is in dormant stage. Kutam will gradually become bij, seed. So all these are destroyed by the power of devotional service, by the power of pure devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada, he mentions, he quotes many verses, mentions. We'll see how it is, how the sinful reactions are burnt. So here Srila Prabhupada mentions that यथाग्नि सुसमृद्धार्ची करोति इधांसी भस्मसात तथा मद विषय भक्तिर उद्धवैनांशी कृष्णसा. My dear Uddhava, devotional service in relationship with me is like a blazing fire that can burn to ashes all the fuel of sinful activities supplied to it. So actually, whatever sinful reactions may be there, all can be burned simply by the performance of devotional service. And further, again, Srila Prabhupada quotes another sloka, this very important sloka, 3.33.6. Yannam dheya sravananu kirtana deha pravana deyat smarnadapi kvachit swadopi sadya savanaya kalpate kuta punaste bhagvanu darshanat. My dear Lord, this is the verse description going on between Devhuti and Kapil Dev. So, my dear Lord, even if a person born in the family of dog eaters hears and repeats the chanting of your glories, offers respect to you and remembers you, he is immediately greater than a Brahmana and is therefore eligible to perform sacrifices. Therefore, what is to be said of one who has seen you directly? So now this is important. A person who is born in the family of a dog eater, how he becomes qualified to perform Vedic sacrifices? Because to perform Vedic sacrifices, one has to be Brahmana. One has to be born in Brahmana family, or at least one has to develop these Brahminical qualities. And that requires that the reformatory process. Otherwise, one is not qualified. But here he says that he becomes, just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one becomes qualified to perform this Vedic sacrifice. In the commentary, 5 minutes. In the commentary, Sridhar Swami, he mentions, Sridhar Swami mentions that it is not just that day before yesterday he was eating meat. Day before yesterday he ate the dog meat, and today he will come and say, I want to do Saligram worship. It is not like that. He he says that this chanting refers to offenseless chanting. Offenseless chanting. So so it mentions that it is not to be misused. Similarly, before in the he mentions that just like any person, just one cannot misuse the sloka. One just, I continued doing all sinful activity and chant the holy name, and then that comes namno balad yasya hi papa buddhi. One that becomes seventh offense, far greater. So like and what to say of this sinful reactions coming to, even the root of the sinful reactions, that is avidya, ignorance, can be completely eradicated, by the process of devotional service. And that is being has been mentioned in sloka number 42239, very famous sloka. यत्पाद पंकज पलास विलास भक्त्या कर्माशयम ग्रथितम उदग्रंथ्यन्ति संत तद्वन्न रिक्त मतयो यतयोपि रुद्धा शोतो गणस्तमर्णम भज वासुदेवम. The devotees, by the action of service to the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord, can very easily overcome the knot of ignorance, carrying unlimited impressions of karma tied tightly by actions. Because this is very difficult. Empty-minded non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to stop the flow of sense activities, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in devotional service, the son of us. So these all the slokas show the power and potency of pure devotional service, the glory of the devotional service. That how, by performing the devotional service, even the root, that avidya, is destroyed from the core. So, and as we see further ahead, after some time, the story of Ajamila will begin, which is a clear example that how by the devotional service, by chanting of the holy name, that Lord saved Ajamila. Because the root, the sinful desire was there in the heart. And that, so this protection aspect, we can very much see from the example of Ajamila. Now, to conclude, in the last paragraph is very important, that commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami. So Srila Jiva Goswami, he mentions, I will just briefly tell you, bhakti, he divides into two, santat and kadachitki. What is santat? Devotional service that continues incessantly with faith and love, incessantly. And kadachitki, devotional service that is sometimes awakened, kadachitki. Then he divides santat again into two, service performed with slight attachment and spontaneous devotional service. Now, kadachitki, devotional service that is sometimes awakened, he divides into three categories. The first category is ragabhasmayi, devotional service in which one is almost attached. This is sometimes awakened, but he is almost attached. Now, ragabhas sunya swarupa bhakti, no spontaneous love, but he wants to serve. He likes the position of servant. So, and the third is abhas rupa. In that, there is only a glimpse of devotional service. Srila Jiva Goswami mentions that even in the stage of abhas rupa bhakti, there is a reflection of, even in the stage of that reflection of the devotional service, sinful reactions are uprooted and vanquished. Niharam iva bhaskara. The word which is mentioned here, just like when the sun appears, all the fog, everything is disappears, with the appearance of the sun. So with and this shows the potency of devotional service. That how by when the devotional service arises in the heart, all the sinful reactions are destroyed. So that's the so thank you. Okay. So now this whole verse is very very at least I felt that although this verse discuss pure devotional servant devotional service, I'm very difficult for me to practice in my own life. But while preparation, I got so much inspiration. I thought that okay, so much homework to do, and I coming to know where the in which direction we have to go ahead. So for all of us, actually, this is what Srila Prabhupada has come to give us. Srila Prabhupada has come to give us this pure devotional service, and he regularly preaches this message of pure devotional service. So he wants us to practice. So we should try our best that we remember these teachings again and again and try to practice this the principles of pure devotional service in my life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
You are talking about pure devotional service. Also, along with that, we see that our heart are filled with so much anarthas. So it becomes so difficult at times to cope up with the aspects of pure devotional service. So what's the hope for all of us?
Yes. So actually, that's why in the nectar of instruction, Srila Bhakti, Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned Utsaha Nishchaya Dharya. Now, we actually, for a sadhaka who has so many previous conditionings and baggage of anarthas from um, so there may be some the kind of obstacle discouragement, we may feel like that, oh, what is happening, whether something is happening or not in my life. But we should give faith. We need utsaha, enthusiasm, we need nischaya, and also we should have dhairya, that the process of bhakti devotional service is powerful, and it is worked, it is going to work, because this is given by Acharya, this is given by Srila Prabhupada. It has worked in the life of people. So it is going to work, it is going to work, and it has worked in our life also. If we analyze if you are mentioning, if we analyze, see our own situation, what was our situation maybe 10 years back or 15 years back. We may have we have certain we bad habits and so many other things, but where we have left many of the bad habits, we have given them up. Now the anarthas, maybe some of the anarthas may be subtler and subtler, and to give them up is more difficult. So gross anarthas, like for example, meat eating, one can give up easily. But when it comes to subtle anartha, puja, la pratishtha, etc., that becomes little more difficult. And so it also takes intensity of the practice of devotional service. So one has to it very much requires the association of pure devotees, association of the persons who are sincerely practicing pure devotional service or trying to practice pure devotional service. When we associate with them, so although one I may be struggling, I may be stuck up at a particular level, but if I associate with them, then that inspiration comes. Okay, I can also try to move ahead. I try giving up my attachments, and I can. So utsaha, nisha, and dhairya also required. It will take some time. So I have to keep some patience, dhairya. So this is what I hope this answers. Yes. Any other questions? Online, if any questions. I see. Harish.
Hare Krishna. Very nice presentation. You give the example of this Vishwamitra. And we are in our practical life, and so many India is the Devbhumi, and sages also there. So many Vaishnavas also there. So many Mayavadis also there. They are also performing devotional service. And may they are success or not success, we cannot judge. But in Vaishnava Sangha also, the sannyasi level devotees, they also sometime on brahmacharis also, and grasthas also, they also sleep. Means happened something their life also. How can we understand the Vishwamitra is not only performing tapasya, and they are also these devotees and the Vaishnavas, sannyasis, they are also performing devotional service, but they also slave.
Yes. Yes, this is a very good question, very important. So, actually, that's why, this apichet suduracharo bhaste maman nebha. No, Lord is very compassionate. It is not that even the persons who were practicing the cultivation of knowledge, they fell down, then Lord is very happy or they fell down. No, the point is that even even the devotees who practicing devotional service may have going through this previous conditions, getting purified of the anarthas. Sometimes they may slip and come down, but what is emphasized is the intensity. They come back again. They don't leave the lotus feet of the Lord. है ना? They may okay, for the time being they may have, or for example some may sleep and they may get distracted, but Lord is so merciful that Lord through some devotees or somebody, Lord wants to bring them back. है ना? And the devotees, the glory of the devotee is that although he may sleep, but he will come back to the lotus feet of the Lord. Huh? So we see in the life of some of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they were sannyasis. They left the movement, they gave up, and they engaged in some sinful activities. And later, due to arrangement of the Lord, somehow or the other, towards the end of the life, they came back again. They were repenting, and again releasing. They were all remembering the service they rendered to Prabhupada, the service rendered to and because that the taste of the service was there. Although they could not, for the time being, they got distracted because they did not seriously follow the instruction. Because they did not took up the instruction seriously, they slipped for some time. But again, they came back. They came back and they took to it more sincerely, more seriously, and then they later they went back to Godhead also. So it is not so we don't want to like anyone say derogate anyone, but point is that the bhakti here in this verse, the potency of pure devotionals is glorified, and to show that how the practice of pure devotional service, even the persons as well as bad as Ajamila, I mean sinful as Ajamila, can be saved. So this is my little understanding. I hope it answers. If
Yes, correct.
Antati Prabhu, you want to ask or comment some?
Prabhuji, Dhanwad, thank you for your excitement. Are you able to hear me?
I can see you, but I cannot hear you. Okay, just.
Then what to do? What to do?
Hare Krishna. Okay, you can speak.
Hare Krishna.
I am able to hear.
Hari Bol.
Yes, I can
Hari
hear.
Bol.
Yes.
Hari. So, Prabhu Dhanwad, thank you very much for your wonderful class. And
Sorry, again the sound is not.
Hari Bol.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Are you able to hear, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare. No, not able to hear.
In Zoom, it is audible too.
अरे वो Zoom पे तो audible है लेकिन इनको audible नहीं है.
Sorry. Yes, call. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. हाँ हाँ हम्म yes Rohit. हम्म okay. So you are mentioning that Acharyas say that the one holy name is sufficient to eradicate all the sinful reactions what a person has in future also. Then if he performs further, where does he go? Yeah, yeah. So yes. So, huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Actually, Prabhuji, to answer this question, this question, if I quote this story of the disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, if that's a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, that he was initiated and he was practicing devotional service when later when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur left. So then he left everything and he began performing all kind of sinful activities, everything. And then later he then he actually practically he left his body and he was taken by Yamdutas, that whole episode. And then there Yamraj he comes in front of Yamraj, he calls Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, and then he was again given back. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur again chastises him, tells him go back and perform devotional service again. So this is I like, for example, just I one I just to because to answer your question, I thought of this. That point is that one who is chanting the holy name. First thing, as we discussed, that namno balad yasya hi papa buddhi. When we understand that to commit sinful reaction on the strength of the holy name is a Vaishnava. This one should avoid that. And if one is doing, then one has to face the consequences. One has to face. The Lord has different plans how to rectify the person, but he has to be rectified and through some way or the other. Now, where does he go? That difficult to say, but Lord is being very. Uh, mhm. हाँ, yeah. हाँ, हाँ, yes. No, actually, Prabhuji, the person, he went to the justification. Actually, he did not personally went for the he was not forced to the punishment. Actually, just he went in front of the Yamraj, and Yamraj, uh, Yamraj, at least there he got darshan of Yamraj, pure devotee of the Lord. Uh, and also, and he got finally he was also supposed to get chastisement from the spiritual master because of his extraordinary activity. I, you can add Broji. Okay. Harish, Harish. Broji, should I tell repeat? So hence, Prabhu said that, like for example, in the Haridas Thakur episode, it is said that anyone who has chanted the holy name, even they don't have to go to hell. They don't have to go to hell. But we see that even in the episode of the disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, at least he has to go to hell. You know? Obviously. So then I said that he went there. He got the darshan of Yamaraj also. He was not sent for punishment. From there, he was sent back, and to continue further devotional service. Uh, that's
So what is main difference between bhakti and atonement process?
What is the main
Difference between bhakti and atonement process? Atonement.
atonement? Huh? Actually, Prabhuji, atonement either by the fruitive, that is the karma kand, or by jnana kand, that person is not freed from the ultimate desire to commit it again. No? He gets temporarily purified, but he has a tendency to commit again. But in case of bhakti, when performs with intensity, it becomes he becomes purified from the heart completely, from the root. And the Ajamila, he performed chanting of the holy name completely purified, by the otherwise the person does it again and again and again. One is like compare hathi bath, the elephant taking bath. Other side is that the bamboo burnt but again comes up. That Gyan Kand comparison. The Karma Kand, that elephant bathing, and Gyan Kand, where bamboo burnt up again, but again it comes up. But devotional service completely from the root, completely from the sinful desire is destroyed from the root only.
Why that happens?
Because that's the potency of devotional service. Because the Lord, one is taking shelter of the Lord, chanting, one is taking shelter of Lord, his holy name, Lord being so potent. When Krishna enters, then what kind of impurity? Krishna is pavitram suddham apavaviddham. When Krishna enters, how can the impurity remain there? So when Krishna, in the form of bhakti, devotional service, he entering the heart of that person, the impurities cannot remain. The person becomes purified. Now, one may ask, but as Prabhuji was saying that we see that devotees are also struggling, committing, sleep, they may sleep again and like how it is happening immediately. But if you see in the entire lifespan, so many lifetimes we have been in the material world. As compared to that, even if one lifetime you become completely purified, even just before death, one becomes completely, that also can be considered like very, very short span only. It's like immediate only. Since so many lives one has taken, we have taken in this material world, and even one life, that is very less only. So we may be going through sleeps. So many some person may be going through sleeps and getting purified. But if you see, but still the process devotional service is so potent, powerful. So that's why one should be hopeful, one should not be discouraged, and should continue practice devotional service in the association devotees, and particularly in the association all devotees, all of you like all devotees like you, and particularly I see you how sincerely you are serving a
This is not
Saligram service.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
As if all 7 days, if you are given Saligram service, you can serve all 7 days.
This is not allowed in question answers. Don't quote.
Just I
But
inspire.
you can quote scriptures.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the main point in bhakti is surrender to Krishna. Other processes, their falsehood is not surrender. Everything is intact. So that's why on their own, they cannot purify themselves. But in devotional service, the main quality of the practitioner that he surrenders himself to Krishna. And how much sinful he is, he may again fall back to sinful tendencies. But his surrender to Krishna is there. So that's why Lord is so pleased with his that one quality, that he is ready to forgive him from all those sinful things. Other processes, they are on their own, they want to purify, and there is no guarantee of that purification because they themselves are succumb to 3 modes of material. So in devotional service, taking shelter of Krishna, surrendering to Krishna is a main ingredient which makes him purified. And that is a hope for us. Okay. So we thank you for your wonderful presentation. So one suggestion that you can slow little bit your speed.
Yes.
And you can be focused and like while presenting, instead of Narad Muni, Mrugari, you told Narad Muni only.
Oh.
So like that,
Yes.
these things happen. So
Yes.
just little slow. And Jiva Goswami, you could have elaborated if you could have managed your time.
Yeah.
That was main quite good.
Actually, the last section, Jiva Goswami, he elaborates it, but that requires time.
So you manage your time like that because these things
Yes.
we know. So you can focus those things which
Yes.
can be helpful. Okay.
Yes.
So we thank you.
Hare
His
Krishna.
Grace Shamjanath Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Now Yugal Sham Prabhu will present. Or
Hare
Bhakti Prabhu.
And Antardeep Prabhuji, you want to give some comment, feedback? Just push it down. Push it. Hare Krishna.
श्यामनगर 6:17:28. इथे दाखवायचं का? श्लोक दाखवायचं? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Canto 6, Chapter 17, entitled Mother Parvati Curses Chitraketu, text 28. नारायण परा सर्वे न कुतश्चन बिभ्यति स्वर्ग अपवर्ग नरकेषु अपि तुल्याथ दर्शिना. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, liberation, and hellish planets are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord. Purport: Parvati might naturally have inquired how devotees become so exalted. Therefore, this verse explains that they are Narayana Para, simply dependent on Narayana. They do not mind reverses in life because in the service of Narayan, they have learned to tolerate whatever hardships there may be. They do not care whether they are in heaven or in hell. They simply engage in the service of the Lord. This is their excellence. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. They are liberally engaged in the service of the Lord, and therefore they are excellent. By using the words Bhritya Bhrityanam, Lord Shiva pointed out that although Chitraketu provided one example of tolerance and excellence, all the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord as eternal servants are glorious. They have no eagerness to be happy by being placed in the heavenly planets, becoming liberated, or becoming one with the Brahman, the supreme effulgence. These benefits do not appeal to their minds. They are simply interested in giving direct service to the Lord. उमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. Hare Krishna. So I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas here. So this Canto 6 of Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically this section, is talks about the pastime of Vritarasur and Chitraketu Maharaj. So as the story goes in this section, how after Chitraketu Maharaj, the episode of his son, the son is Harsha Shoka dies. Later he does tapasya. He gets the darshan of Lord Anantadev. He gets the darshan of Supreme Lord. He gets the benediction from the Lord. And after that, he becomes a king again. And then he's like traveling. And then he's chanting the holy names of the Lord. And in that case, what happens is he happens to see Lord Shiva at sitting there along with his wife. And then this leads to he's commenting and seeing the whole situation happen. And then later, he gets cursed by Mother Parvati. So after he gets cursed, Chitraketu Maharaj, he comes down from his airplane. And then that time he begs forgiveness from her. And he accepts the curse and he continues ahead. And after that, this section, what we are currently discussing today, comes up, where Lord Shiva starts speaking. So Lord Shiva speaks very few shlokas here. In fact, he begins with glorifying the devotees, because he saw there how actually Chitraketu Maharaj is cursed. But Chitraketu Maharaj, without retaliating anything, he just accepted the curse and he went ahead. So the text, there are many shlokas in this where actually Shiva is speaking, but initial 3 shlokas I will try to touch. Out of the third one is today's discussion, what we are going to do. So in text 26, we see how Lord Shiva is apparently pleased with even Parvati. He's smiling. After smiling, he's like talking to Parvati. In the next shloka, in the 27, he discusses about the greatness of, he tells her how the devotees are so great, how they are servants of the servant of the Lord. They are taken shelter of the Supreme Lord. He also says how actually Parvati, you are beautiful. You may have a beautiful form, but the real beauty is the beauty of the devotees who are much more greater in their service to the Lord. They are surrendered to the Lord. We can also see how Lord Vishnu is so astonishing. He kind of influenced Parvati to curse Chitraketu. And then even after getting cursed, he wanted to show how Chitraketu is great. So Chitraketu's love for Lord never diminished. Chitraketu's bhakti never, he remained indifferent to the curse. He just accepted, okay, fine, curse is coming, I'm accepting it. And he went ahead, continued with his life. So we can say one way that, apparently we can say that the curse did not act upon Chitraketu because his consciousness, his mindset remained quite same. So apparently externally we can get to see that the changes might have happened. He might have become a demon subsequently. So we come to today's shloka, text 28, where Narayana Parasarve, he discusses about this aspect, how devotees of the Lord, they are never fearful of any condition of life. So basically we can see in this particular shloka of today's discussion, there are many things are discussed, out of which few things we'll like to touch today. One thing it talks about is the glory of a devotee, how a devotee is very glorious. Even how the devotees having that equanimity towards dualities when they come in his life. How a devotee can be fearless when such kind of calamities may strike his life. It also shows a difference between a genuine devotee versus a show-off devotee. Because for a genuine devotee, whatever situation is there, that doesn't matter to him. But for devotees, apparently kind of doing a show-off, externally just trying to show that he's a devotee, such kind of situations, such kind of curses may really kind of shake him off from his being. He can't continue with his show after that. We also see many of our acharyas like Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Thakur commenting on this shloka. Like Srila Jiva Goswami, he says that the devotees have the quality of seeing or experiencing everything other than Narayan as equally worthless. Tulyartha. So for them, everything is equally worthless. Though it is Swarga, Narka, Apavarga, what it's equally worthless for them. Vishwanath Thakur says that Swarga or Apavarga or even Narka, for the devotees, they are tasteless. Why they are tasteless for the devotees? Because there is no aspect of bhakti in them. Because they don't get that same rasa for the bhakti which they get from practicing bhakti by doing these 3 things. So that's why devotees are not least interested about these 3 things. And he talks about like that. Now let's try to go from different aspect of this shloka. Like the first aspect is Narayana Parasarve, the first aspect of this shloka. So Narayana Para is someone who is the devotee of the Lord. Of course, we have so many scriptures describing about how devotees of the Lord are so glorious. And devotees of the Lord, they are the way Lord sees his devotees. We have so many pastime. We have Ambarish Maharaj pastime, where how much where Lord Vishnu is saying for him the entire universe is at one side and one devotee of the Lord at one side. So he will prefer that one devotee over that entire universe. So that's the way where Lord is seeing his devotees. That's why such devotees were actually Narayanapara who are devoted to the Lord Vishnu. Like we see even in how such Narayanapara devotees are so rare. They're so rare. Like we have in 6th canto another shloka talking Muktanam api siddhanam Narayana parayana Sudurlava prashantatma Kotisha api mahamune. How they are rare. Among the muktis, among the siddhis, among the so many living entities around, they're so rare. Rarest species is the Narayana para. So what makes them rare? What makes them rare is because there may be so many living entities, but out of them, very few want to actually surrender to the Lord. Of course, few of them want to serve the Lord. Also, in 5th canto, where in the prayers of the residents of Jambudvipa, there we get to see about these what are the qualities this Narayana devotee have in them. So it says, Yasyasya bhaktir bhagavati akinchina sarva gunaistattra samasite sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena nasati dhavato bahi. So Yasyasya bhaktir bhagavati akinchina sarvair gunastatra samasite sura. So all the good qualities of the demigods, all the qualities of all the glorious qualities we get to see with such devotees of the Lord. And how they come, how those qualities come in these devotees? They come in them because they practice bhakti. And what makes them very unique? So you may see there are so many qualities, like we have 26 qualities of a Vaishnava that are described. Out of them, the most important quality which is discussed or described is Krishna Eka Sharanam. What makes devotees very unique or what makes them Narayan Para is actually their entire focus or the entire goal of their life is to surrender to the Krishna. The only thing they do is they want to surrender to Krishna. Like we have examples of so many great souls from Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj. He was in so much of difficulties. Father was kind of killing him. He was plotting that he can get killed by various ways and means. But he was so much focused. Lord is there, Lord Narayan is there, Lord Krishna is there. He will take care of me. We have example of Srila Haridas Thakur. That Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces, but for him, that never deterred him from his devotion to Lord Narayan. His devotion remains fixed. Like sometime back I spoke about Ambarish Maharaj also. Apparently, a calamity came in Ambarish Maharaj's life, but his calamity did not deter Ambarish Maharaj also from his practice, from his devotion. In fact, in all these examples, these 3 examples I spoke about, Prahlad Maharaj, Haridas Thakur, Ambarish Maharaj, we can see their unwavering devotion by the very fact that they never asked for any help also. They were attacked. There were so much of calamities was thrown on them, but they just remained that if Lord wants, He'll protect. Mare Krishna Rakhe Ki. That's what their faith was. And that's why they were continuing with that. Just like we see here in this shloka, how Lord Shiva is talking about glories of the devotee. Elsewhere in Padma Puran, Prabhupada many times quotes this shloka many places, that how, again, Lord Shiva is speaking to Mother Parvati, that Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Paradaram Devi Tadiyanam Arthadham Tadiyanam Aradhanam. He's saying that how the topmost worship is of Lord Vishnu. And out of that also he's saying that, even amongst that, the top worship is of the devotees of the Lord. So we see that again, here also Lord Shiva is speaking the current shloka, today's discussion, what we're doing. Here also again, in the past also, in this Padma Purana also, Lord Shiva spoke to Parvati about it, about this shloka. So I was hearing a class by his name Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj is making a point that what is the topmost quality for devotee? Though certainly we discussed that how Krishna Ka Sharanam is a prime quality which a devotee exhibits in his life. Along with that, he was saying that, along with that, next to it, we can say the quality for devotee which is there. That is, Trinadapi Sunichena, Taroravis Apiso Eshtunan, Amanina Manadena, Kirtani Sadahari. How the devotee is so tolerant, he's so humble. And without expecting any kind of respect from anyone, he's always ready to offer respect to others. So just as mentioning a point here, that how our Chitraketu Maharaj, he got a darshan of Anantadev. Just imagine a scenario where you are getting something, you're getting to get the darshan of Supreme Lord, and after some time only, you get in a curse from Parvati. It's completely dual or opposite situation we can see in life of Chitraketu Maharaj. But his dualities which came in his life never deterred him. Also, we see that in the life of Jai Vijay. In that scenario where Jai Vijay and Chitraketu, if you just compare, contrast these two personalities, so Jai Vijay were also cursed, Chitraketu was also cursed. But the difference we get to see is in the response. Jai Vijay requested, okay, at least my punishment can be reduced. Instead of 6 lifetimes, it can be 3 lifetimes. But in case of Chitraketu, we see that he never said anything. He said, okay, he accepted, he just clarified, thanked Parvati. He said, okay, now I'll go and become a demon. That was his response of Chitraketu Maharaj. Now we may say, okay, these are all scriptural examples, but do we have an example from our current life around? So we have example of Srila Prabhupada himself. How Srila Prabhupada, he exhibited his tolerance. When Prabhupada was staying one point of time in Dr. Mishra's studio, but because when Dr. Mishra saw that actually his audience were getting attracted to Srila Prabhupada, now just to make sure his audience remains intact, he told Prabhupada to now you can proceed to some other place. From that place, Prabhupada went to another place where he got a partner, that was David. Now, when Prabhupada met David, he gave he had one copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada gave that copy to him as a gift. Because Prabhupada was thinking that, David will be the first Vaishnava I'll make in America. That was Prabhupada's desire. That was Prabhupada's vision toward this David. But after some time, because David would always take drugs, once he was drugged very much, and that time he came in the room, he was about to attack Srila Prabhupada, and that time Prabhupada had to tolerate the situation and he has to move ahead. This pastime was narrated by Rameshwar Prabhu. I was just listening his talk also about this aspect of tolerance, Prabhupada's tolerance. Also, we see that when Prabhupada was staying with Sally Agarwal at his home, the same fridge, here is a Vrajavasi coming from Vrindavan. His life was so simple, so pure. Now, same personality now, sitting in America, he has to share the same fridge where meat is also there and his sabji is also there. I have to tolerate that that situation. Or his travel itself to the West, so difficult to travel, 2 heart attacks, and then before getting on Jaldut, then he has to getting the P form and getting all those sponsorships and everything. It itself was such a difficult phase for Prabhupada, but still he tolerated that because he had that order of his spiritual master. Also, Prabhupada's dedication to his spiritual master, the 2 instructions what he received of printing books and preaching in the West. So from that, we really understand how Prabhupada tolerated the dualities and difficulties coming because he had his goal. His mission was his Guru Maharaj's instruction for him. So this was about the first aspect of Narayana Parasarve. Second one is Na Kutashana Bibhyati. So Na Kutashana Bibhyati means fearlessness. So the fearlessness, so one who practices pure devotion service, by the practice of pure devotion service, one easily overcomes his fear. Fear can be overcome by such kind of practice of pure devotion service. Now, the fearlessness, why a devotee is fearless basically? So devotee, the dedicated devotee is never fearful to go anywhere in the entire cosmic manifest. He can go anywhere. For him, doesn't matter where he goes. Now, why such a devotee is fearless? What makes him fearless? His full faith in Lord. That Krishna is going to protect him in all circumstances. Like we know this, Bhakti Thakur says in Sharanagati, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. That devotee has a Vishwas, he has that confidence that yes, Krishna is going to protect me. Krishna is my whole soul protector. And that's why he's always fearless. He may be in the midst of the forest, he may be in the midst of, just like in case of Srila Prabhupada, he's in the West, where the onslaughts of Maya is so much day in, day out, we can get to see that onslaughts. But he's always fearless because he has taken shelter of the Lord, and that shelter of the Lord is making him fearless. And because of his practice of pure devotion service, that makes him fearless. Also, like I was saying, like how Srila Prabhupada went by Jalduta to America, he suffered 2 heart attacks. So he always remained fearless. Always difficulties came. Prabhupada say so many times, I always would come to the steamship and see whether when is the next ship going there. Though he did that, but he never actually went back to India. Could have done, but because he was fearless and he wanted to really preach the message of Krishna. Also, we see that in the same aspect that how when Prabhupada was preaching in Calcutta, in the Bengal region, today also we see how the situation is there. Same time when Prabhupada was preaching there in those days, that time also he got a life threat. Someone said a message to Prabhupada that if you don't stop your program, then we will destroy the entire thing. Prabhupada said, don't worry, let's continue with our program. Let whatever happens, we'll see. So that fearlessness Prabhupada exhibited, and that's why we also see Prabhupada was not only himself fearless, but he also made his disciples fearless. We get to see the way how Tamal Krishna Maharaj acquired the land in Mayapur. So difficult for them, it is so difficult. Or we have Giriraj Maharaj fighting the case in Juhu. So Prabhupada himself was fearless and he made his disciples also fearless. The third aspect of this shloka is Swarga, Apavarga, Narkeshu. Maybe it is heaven or liberation or hell, it remains same for him. So wherever a devotee goes, he performs his devotional service. Just like in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning the point, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. He'll continue with his practice of bhakti. He'll continue with the Navvidha bhakti anywhere and everywhere he goes. So even if he goes to heaven, for instance, he goes to Swarga, so the heavenly pleasure will not excite such a devotee. Even he goes to Narka or hell, now such kind of hellish suffering will not make him suffer. Like you might have heard a very famous statement that pain is compulsory, but suffering is optional. So now when we say that, when hell or hellish pain, we can say, it's not that devotee doesn't get pain. He may certainly get pain, but whether to suffer or not, that is his choice. And he suffers, he chooses not to suffer because he knows these are ordained by the Lord. This is not coming because of some other reasons. Also, the third aspect of Apavarga, liberation. So liberation will not give him excitement. He'll not get excited. To the degree that devotee doesn't want to even go back to Godhead. We get to see the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, till the time these foolish rascals, they are there in this world, I want to be there in this world, so that we can facilitate their going back to Godhead. That is his desire. Even for liberation, liberation is one level, but what is even at a higher level, we can say back to God, going back to God is also, devotee may not be interested in that desire of. So devotees, what is devotee's only interest now? His only interest is in devotional service. So devotee is not just happy in enjoying Krishna consciousness himself, but he wants to see that others also are happily, blissfully engaged in Krishna consciousness. So basically, devotee is para dukkha dukhi. Now, when we say para dukkha dukhi means when you see others suffering, he feels okay how they can be facilitated. And he understands one thing, why, like Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, the only problem in this world is lack of Krishna consciousness. So once they get Krishna consciousness, by practice of Krishna consciousness, everyone can become happy. That's why devotee's real happiness is to preach and spread Krishna consciousness. So like Srila Prabhupada has given us so many ways to do this activity. We have book distribution, we have deity worship, we have temple services. So many things are there Prabhupada has given so that we can preach and broadcast the message and spread Krishna consciousness. Like also we know that when someone is really happily situated in Krishna consciousness, that itself is also preaching. Because a happy devotee is the best preacher. Because by simply being happy in his Krishna consciousness, others will get attracted. They'll say, okay, because he is happy. If we example Jayananda Prabhu, Jan was so happy. He was so happy. That's why he could attract so many varieties of people from so many ranks of life, literally. So in case of, again, with the example of Srila Prabhupada, we can see that how at time he would be sick. In fact, we can say maximum time he would be sick. The sickness never made Prabhupada kind of, okay, let me take off or take a rest. He had sickness, he took some medicine, but he was like a fighter fighting on the battlefield. Like when he was in his last days, Prabhupada also said, don't take the privilege for fighting for spreading Krishna consciousness, what I have. Prabhupada could have happily relaxed in Vrindavan, but it chose to leave the spiritual atmosphere of Vrindavan and go to America just to preach Krishna consciousness. That we can get to see from though like initially we can say Prabhupada had kind of, poverty life. He just took 40 rupees. But later there were crores of rupees of temples were there. But Prabhupada was same. His approach was same for all the aspects. But then the fourth aspect is Tulyartha Darshana, seeing them equally. Like we have the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmani Gavi Hastini, Suni Chaiva Sapakecha, Pandita Samadarshana. So this talks about the Samadarshi, the Drishti of the devotee, of the Lord. So even in case of Srila Prabhupada, we can see that how Prabhupada was actually seeing them equally, seeing everyone equally. There was one Gita Sammelan, and then this shloka was quoted, and there was a debate going on this. So Samadarshita was discussed. But then Prabhupada said, what is my Samadarshita? What is my equanimity? My equanimity is that I spread Krishna consciousness, I gave Krishna consciousness, irrespective of whether who is there in the front of me. It didn't matter to me whether he is a Hindu, he's an Indian, he's American, he's Australian, he's African. That doesn't matter to him. Didn't matter to him. He gave that Krishna consciousness to everyone. So we have the shloka Abhir, that किराट हुणांद्र पुलिंद पुलकशा आभीर शुंभा यवन खसादया यन्नेच पापा पदाश्रयाश्रया शुद्धंति तस्मै प्रभ वैष्णवे नमः. How even all these races they got purified simply by practicing practice of bhakti which they received by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So this was Prabhupada's equanimity. Though it was criticized, at times he was criticized, at times he was, glorified, or, so at times people would have red carpet welcome to him at places he was not welcome, but that never deterred him from practicing or preaching Krishna consciousness. So in this entire purport, we get to see how Prabhupada is describing how the devotees become exalted because they are Narayana Parayana. And also this purport discusses about the tolerance of a devotee, how the tolerance is exhibited by the devotee, and then whether the service may be difficult or it may be impossible at times, but devotees will tolerate it. Or sometimes you have to tolerate people around us while doing the service. And then that will lead to, by the tolerating, we can achieve the success. And why do this? They are not so, they are so much attracted to bhakti that Swarga, Aparuga, Naraka doesn't attract or distract them. So for devotees, even it is Swarga, it is like facilities are there, but nothing is there, or everything is there, that doesn't matter. Their only attraction is for the bhakti, and then that doesn't distract them. We have example of our three couples going to London for preaching Krishna consciousness. What facilities they had? In fact, everyone was going there, so they had to send back the money so that the next couple can come in. And then they had to stay in cardboard boxes. And in that situation, they preached Krishna consciousness in the United Kingdom. So after hearing all this thing, we may think about, okay, so what practical things I can apply from this? We may say, okay, fine, I may not have that, tolerance. I may not have that, I may not be that Narayana Parayana, like this sloka describes about. So the first aspect of, application of can be, which can be utilized in this is, one has to strengthen his faith through his sadhana. By sadhana means for us our chanting of the holy names, studying scriptures, associating with devotees, serving Vaishnavas. By doing these things, what happens is then that will strengthen our faith. And when our faith is strengthened, to then practice such kind of situation may be easy for us. We should also develop a philosophical perspective, understanding the nature of this world is temporary. And then with that understanding, and also we understand that how life is so short in this world. That will help us to develop a sense of urgency that we can take this message very seriously in our life. Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, we have to also cultivate certain qualities like tolerance, and also we need to focus on a service, like the one of the solution which I was just hearing about it, the solution. So many times, instead of worrying more about our personal comfort or discomfort, if we can engage in the service of the Lord, and important that keeping our egoistic level little aside, that will really help us to come to the expectation what Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas are wanting us to have. Also, at one level, to physically tolerate something can be a little bit easy, but to tolerate the urges of our false ego is something which is much more difficult. So, if we need to survive in bhakti, then we have to really tolerate the urges which are coming up from our false ego, and keeping it at that aside, practice in the association of the devotees in the mood of the surrender servant. That's why in the purport also Prabhupada talks about Bhritya Bhrityanam. In fact, this Bhritya Bhrityanam in this purport, it comes in the previous verse where Prabhupada quotes how they are actually servant of the servant. That important quality of being servant of the servant will help us to reinstate or focus of bhakti will remain, and other things will not divert us. Otherwise, there are so many things which can divert us in our practice of bhakti, which can lead us not to continue with our practice of bhakti. That's why one level we can also understand that how devotee experiences spiritual happiness within, because he's relishing that bhakti or experience within. That's why the outer or external happiness may not really mind to him. For him, his bhakti towards Lord and the service to the devotees, service to the community will become always important for him. So, 5 minutes. So to summarize what we discussed today, we began with saying, we kind of in a short quoted the story of Chitraketu Maharaj and the interaction he got to see the darshan of Anantadev. Little bit after that, when he saw how Parvati and Shiva, they are sitting in the in the Himalayas. That time he just happened to kind of joke with Shiva, which kind of enraged Parvati, and she kind of gave a curse to him. And then by that curse, the way he reciprocated with that curse, he didn't kind of retaliated back. He happily accepted the curse, and then he went subsequently became a demon. Later, Lord Shiva is talking to Parvati. That's the discussion of that's the shloka what we discussed today. How he described the greatness of the devotee and how devotees that never fear any condition of life. Any difficult situation will not never make them deter them. We also discuss how Jiva Goswami and Vishnu Thakur they say that for a devotee, Swarga, Apavarga, Narka, it doesn't attract much because not, anything which is not related to Krishna or Narayan, that doesn't attract to the devotees. Also, Vishnu Thakur said that, because these three things doesn't have any element of bhakti, that doesn't have any happiness like bhakti, so devotees are not attracted by these three things. And also we discuss word by the main aspect of the shloka, Narayana Parasarve na Kuteshana Bibheti, Swarga Parga Narkeshu, Apitulyad. We 4 things we discuss. So that how we saw that in the first thing, Narayana Parayana, we saw how the devotees are so rare. Narayana Parayana, they are very rare. And Prahlad Maharaj says that all the good qualities they are present in the devotees. And why? What is the prime quality in that? That's Krishna Eka Sharanam. And we saw example of Haridas Thakur, Prahlad Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, their unwavering devotion. We also compared that how the topmost quality of a devotee can also be Tranadapi Sunichana, tolerance, when he tolerates the situation, the difficulties. We saw the comparison between Chitraketu Maharaj and Jai Vijay. There is a contrast between both of them. Both received curse. Chitraketu accepted as it is. Jai Vijay requested for kind of reducing it to 3 lifetimes. We saw example of Srila Prabhupada when he was staying with David, how he had to tolerate when he was with Sally Agrawal, to share the same fridge. He himself leaving from Vrindavan itself was a kind of a situation for him. How they are fearless. Fearlessness we discuss. What makes them fearless is because they have full faith in Krishna. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. We saw example of Prabhupada when he went to America, 2 heart attacks, and then the journey itself was so difficult, but he still remained fearless. In Bengal, he was preaching, and then that time he was given a threat, but that never deterred him. Swarga, Apavaga, Narkeshu. So whether it is Swarga will never excite a devotee, Narka will never make him suffer, and Apavarga will never excite him again. So even to one level, devotee doesn't want to even go back to Godhead, because he, just like Prahlad Maharaj, he is so much worried about other living entities who are still there, who are suffering in this material world. Their only interest is for devotional service, to preach Krishna consciousness, spread Krishna consciousness. We saw example of Prabhupada, how he left Vrindavan, went to America, so that all of us subsequently get Krishna consciousness. Tulyartha Darshana, that Vidya Vinay Sampanya, that shloka we discuss. Also, how Prabhupada said, what is his equanimity? Is he gave Krishna consciousness to one and all without discriminating for anyone. And then we concluded saying that how one has to strengthen his faith through sadhana and develop a philosophical perspective towards the life, develop the mood of urgency. And with this, one has to keep aside one's false ego so that one can survive in his bhakti. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you are comparing the example of Vritrasur and the Jai Vijay.
Jai Vijay.
So, what we want to conclude, because Jai Vijay, they asked for reducing but they wanted the association of Lord only.
Yeah.
So, instead of 6 lifetimes, 3 lifetimes. No?
Yes.
So, so in that case, is that means what is so?
It's not contradictory to each other, first of all.
Because
it is just a approach. What I understand is the approach. We can see, like, for example, we never see Haridas Thakur asking for protection when he's beaten in marketplaces. We never see Ambarish Maharaj asking that, oh, this demon is coming and he's trying to kill me, so please protect me. We never see like that happening. So it doesn't, we are not kind of, this point I got from where? Actually, I heard this point from one class given by Rameshwar Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada disciple. He was giving a comparison between both. No, there it is not mentioned like that. Because I heard in that class, I'm quoting from there.
Okay. So shouldn't I should not ask this question? Okay. Okay. Now one more question, another question. Now we see that Prabhu, this duality, when when Chitraketu Maharaj in such a happy state, because he got the darshan of Sankarsan, Lord, and he was in savage, and later he gets the curse of Mother Parvati, and then how he behaves. So duality, you were mentioning that how that, and that's how Lord Shiva becomes very pleased, and then he quotes this sloka in our life. Then when we see the even the slight change in the service, slight change in the place, now as you were mentioning, that creates a disturbance in our mind, and so the how we can actually develop that quality that we can at least follow in the footsteps, uh, how what steps we can take.
Of course, these great souls, they are exemplifying this example. Now, we may not be in a level where we can actually exactly do the same thing. Like certainly, if someone, if we are glorified and little later someone comes as and chastises also, then that maybe may get affected by that. So that's why we need that. At least what I understand a little bit is we need that regular connection with some mature and sincere devotees in Krishna consciousness who are quite. So we have our seniors who can guide us in that aspect. So actually, unless and until we face the situations, see, one thing is you have to face them and then only we grow. See, what I see is whenever I personally see in my life, when sometimes I'm not able to follow something. At least I'm aware that I am not able to follow it. That itself at one level is a great achievement, I feel. So this is I learned from His Holiness Loknath Maharaj when first time Maharaj went for, at least when I got a first time opportunity to go for morning walk with Maharaj. So one devotee asked him a question, Ki, Maharaj, I'm trying, my chanting is not pathetic, I'm not able to chant, all this thing he asked. So Maharaj said the first achievement what you have is you are aware that you don't have taste for chanting. That itself is a great achievement at our level. So I feel that at our level, if you simply understand, okay, I am not able to follow this principle, what is exhibited by this Chitraketu Maharaj, at least I'm aware that I'm not able to, I'm not able to do it first level. And that awareness itself will help us to take smaller steps ahead. And then by the mercy of, by one thing I understand from by prayers, we pray to the Supreme Lord. By prayers, by regular association with someone who are really able to practice those things, by that 2-3 ways we can actually gradually we can able to overcome that thing. It's not like a sudden thing. Today we hear and tomorrow we immediately apply it. We may fail certainly for sure. But along with that failure, we get an understanding that yes, we get also hope that yes, I need to go ahead now. So I feel.
So we see that two types of devotees. One is accepting whatever is there, whatever comes in his way, he accepts it humbly. And second type of devotees, he want to improve the situation. For example, prasadam is not good in kitchen. So one type of devotee, he accepts whatever comes. Second type, he want you fight and you lot of endeavor, he improves the prasadam. So according to this verse, who is glorified? First type or second type?
Actually, we need both. We need both type of devotees. Why do we need both? Because there is one type who exemplify okay how they're satisfied. Whatever happens, whatever is there, not there, prasadam there is, prasadam is over, prasadam is there. They're happy. Fine. मूढ़ी तो है, मूढ़ी खा लेंगे, पानी पी लेंगे, उसमें से चला लेंगे. But also we need other type of devotees also who feel okay. It's not that let's be happily sit in the situation and continue. Now these they may be appear contradicted to each other. They may appear. But the second type, if you see, they want to make some change, they want to make some improvement in the situation. The goal and purpose is to again help others only. Now we may have some devotees who are like, kind of avdhut type of. For them, it doesn't matter. It's there, not there, doesn't matter. But then there are many are there who may be in the category for them, these things may matter. If prasadam is not good, that may matter for some. So see, first category anyway is indifferent. Doesn't matter, is there or not there. At least for second category of devotees who for whom these things will matter, for them at least we should have to arrange things in such a way. And again, that has to be done in a Vaishnava way, not that we make a hartal and we make kind of a protest. No, we have a Vaishnava way of dealing with things, solving situation. Proper person we have to contact and discuss and sort it out. So both are required.
Correct question. So nice class and presentation systematically. You mentioned as Bibheti and then Samudarshi. Samudarshi and Bibheti. You make elaborate the 2 point. This Bibheti, you give best example of this Prabhupada, how he means he don't have money and he go to West and threaten also. So, but in his current days, means in our scenario, or this all our ISKCON, the devotees, all devotees are so fearful, because if we speak true Shastra, then people may get hurt and they are not cooperate us. So we are some books also edit some Prabhupada's strong word. So why we these devotees are fearful? And another, some devotees are fearful from some junior devotee. Again, he is the nice preacher, or he is the bold, or he is the knowledgeable more than me. So we cannot promote them. So this type of fearfulness is there. And another, Samadarshi. So Prabhupada is Samadarshi. There are hippies, a rich person. Sometimes Prabhupada chastise who is donate big amount also. So Prabhupada don't have fear also, and is Samadarshi. But nowadays we are always mentioning also in our discussion, our presentation, he is like this, he is like that, he is rebel, he is nice, he is humble, and publicly chastise also. So these things are in Shastra said some darshan, we have to some darshan, and you are also present, Prabhupada also. But nowadays we are not seeing this. So what is lacking in our devotional service? So we have fear also, we don't have samdarshi bhav also. What is lacking means our devotional service is not proper, or the process is not proper.
Actually, if you see as the day and age is passing ahead, as the Kali Yuga is progressing, the people are becoming more and more, you can say, sensitive, apparently. The way Prabhupada, if you see in our own childhood also, the way our parents should treat us, deal with us, they would never think of, slapping us. They would never think of, they'll take a rod and beat us also. That was part of the whole thing. When teachers also in the school, they'll do the same thing. But now if a teacher does that, then he has to he'll be put into jail. So if we see overall, it's not a bhakti or process. The process is all perfect. Everything is at its place. I feel that the main issue is that the Kali Yuga is progressing. People are becoming more and more allergic, or they can't tolerate, they can't digest things. Even if you see that nowadays the teenagers who are there, if you see now even in our time, or in many of our devotees who are currently there, their time, they have that ability to tolerate something. But nowadays teenagers, they can't tolerate anything. Toleration level has gone down to such a great degree. Even if you see in case of our social media also, the videos nowadays, they come 30 seconds. Why? Because they can't go beyond that. 30 seconds से ऊपर गया मतलब वो उसको, they can't focus only on that. The whole degradation which has happened, which Bhagavatam talks about in the first canto, how. So that's the primary reason I feel that why people are not able to, even to some degree, we can say, after coming to Krishna also, it's not that we have become completely purified yet, but in the process we are there, and or we are here with all this Kali Yuga background. That's the main reason I feel why people are not able to take things. They are becoming more and more weaker. I hope I could answer.
So this verse is speaking about fearlessness of devotee. So what thing makes fearful to devotees? That also you can tell.
What makes devotees fearful is when they kind of get disconnected with Krishna, when there's a lack of Krishna. So it may sound in a certain way I'm saying, but when someone even gets a desire which is separate from Krishna, a separatist kind of desire, when they want to enjoy separately from Krishna, that itself is a kind of a leash of fearfulness for even for a devotee, we can say. That's why devotee is always cautious and careful that how he always remains in touch with Krishna. So why we see like Bhagavad Gita Krishna Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, it is said. Why Satatam Kirtam is said in one level? Why? Because then that will always keep a devotee connected with Krishna through his holy name. A devotee will always remain connected through service. He remain connected uh, through different ways and means. So if that connection remains intact with Krishna, then that fearfulness, like we have even this one song also, Ashoka Bhayamrita. क्या song है वो? नहीं जीवन टलमल अभय भजहु रे मन श्री नंदनंदन अभय चरण रविंद्र जीवन टलमल. So if you see the life is like that, but the more can devotee remains connected with Krishna, then that fear. See, like if we see like Prahlad Maharaj himself is a great example, or Haridas Thakur. Though they were in such a physically external situations were there for him, that never kind of made him fearful or something. Of course, that doesn't mean that you may see sometimes devotees may get affected by some diseases, they may get sometime accident. But fear factor, that aspect will be there for sure. Along with that, devotees know that okay, yes, Krishna will be there, he'll take care of me in all the situations.
Okay. Fear of offending Vaishnavas also one should have.
Yeah, fear of offending
So
Vaishnava.
these things you can cover this also.
Yeah.
How fearless devotees are and what things make them fearful. So both things will complete this presentation. Okay. So I thank you for this wonderful presentation. You are precisely, attentively covered all the points and you have control over audience and your tone and space was very good, effective. Eye contact was there. So, and fluent. Some verses you can memorize or just quote. If you feel that you're going to get, stumble, just leave it. Those verses. And your time management, little bit you can improve because there are 5 minutes per remaining. You can add more things, and summary also should be very short. In 2 minutes, you just cover the points. Again, repeating will impact your presentation. Okay. So all around, you did well. Thank you. His Grace Shugul Sham Prabhu Ji ki jai. Now we'll have back a break of 10 minutes. 12:30 will start. Huh? Who is the presenter next? Okay, Mr. Krishna.
Sutaaptavitte janasya mohoyam aham mameti. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mind. Purport. Sex serves as the natural attraction between man and woman. And when they are married, their relationship becomes more involved. Due to the entangling relationship between man and woman, there is a sense of illusion whereby one thinks, this man is my husband, or this woman is my wife. This is called Hriday Granthi, the hard knot in the heart. This knot is very difficult to undo, even though a man and woman separate either for the principle of Varnashram or simply to get a divorce. In any case, the man always thinks of the woman, and the woman always thinks of the man. Thus, a person becomes materially attached to family, property, and children, although all of these are temporary. The possessor unfortunately identifies with his property and wealth. Sometimes, even after renunciation, one becomes attached to a temple or to the few things that constitute the property of a sannyasi. But such attachment is not as strong as family attachment. The attachment to the family is the strongest illusion. In the Satya Samhita, it is stated, Brahmadaya ya Valkadaya Muchyante Stri Sahayina Bodhayante Kechanetasam Visecham Visesam Cha Vido Vidu. Sometimes it is found among exalted personalities like Lord Brahma that the wife and children are not a cause of bondage. On the contrary, the wife actually helps further spiritual life and liberation. Nonetheless, most people are bound by the knots of the material relationships and consequently they forget their relationship with Krishna. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pashyati Desatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So first of all, I like to seek blessings of all devotees assembled here, as this verse is talking about the material world and how to come out of it. So this is not a very easy thing to discuss about. So if by all of your blessings, I would like to speak something or repeat whatever I have read or referred to from Prabhupada books and lectures. So basically, if we see the basic introduction about this verse, so this comes from the Rishabhdev teachings from the 5th canto, 5th chapter. So this is the 8th verse. So this chapter talks about that how a person has to come out of this material world from sense gratification by connecting to Supreme Lord, by taking shelter of devotee of Lord. So this is the main concept that is being spoken. And just previous to these verses is being talk about sense gratification. If somebody considers as the goal of life, and he remains means fixed in this material world only, and he cannot come out of the cycle of birth and death. But if he has to come out, then he has to learn to love God, which Rishabhdev is telling is me only. So now in this verse, Prabhupada is talking about mainly 3-4 points, like there is a foundation of sexual attachment, because of which a person is attached to this material world. And then there's a feeling of aham mameti. So then he continues in the cycle of birth and death because of this. And even in case of renunciates also, sometimes they may also get attached. And at the end, Prabhupada tells in short about like sometimes wife and children can also help a person in liberation. So now if we see in this word, the first word, pumsa, so that refers to, or that the meaning is bhokta. So one wants to enjoy. So here in case of man and woman, both wants to enjoy. However, both are prakriti as jiva, but both wants to predominate over other. And that is the feeling in this sexual attraction. And that's why this goes on, or this is the main thing in this material world. Brahma created this for the purpose of the creation to go on, so that progeny comes and the creation goes on. So he sets a system for this purpose, and he gives some amount of enjoyment in this sexual pleasure. But this is becoming the main basis in this material world. Like if we see also all the varieties, not only human beings, even animals and all are also attracted to opposite sex. Like if we see women wants to decorate very nicely to impress upon men, or they look in different ways for that purpose, or a man wants to make a show of his strength or wealth and all, by having costly items, bike or car or whatever, to impress the opposite sex. So many times people make a show of this. And if we see also in material world everywhere, either we see movies or we see dramas or we see novels, or even in advertisements also. Even advertisement which has no relation with sexual attraction also has this, because based on that they want to sell their product because of that sex desire. So by promoting sex desire, one wants to sell his product. So that is the basis in this material world, one of the basic foundation, because of which a person becomes bound. And as soon as he becomes attached, so then what happens? Then he wants a apartment, griha, kshetra, suta, he wants a place, he wants his influence, he wants children, he needs to have some relatives, he has to visit them. So many things happen because of that. And if anyone obstruct that in terms of earning his money or his sense gratification, then he becomes his enemy. And then there is a lot of fight, in this material world also. So the reason for fighting is also this only, because of sexual attachment. One wants to impress the girl, and then he fights for no good reason with the man, just to impress. Or two person are fighting for the same girl and they keep fighting. However, they may be very good friends initially, but later on, after they wants to develop attachment to a particular girl or impress a girl, so then they want to impress in that way. So then that creates enmity. However, they were friends earlier. So in material world also, these things cannot be said how long it will go on. People commit that we will remain forever together, or we will serve each other and all. Even in this case also. So even in case of Bali Maharaj section also, it is being mentioned that the family members are like plunderers, and the wife is like increasing the material condition of a person in this material world. So that's why the meaning of history also Prabhupada mentions is one who expands the material condition. So person remains, if he lives alone, then he can live very simply with very less requirements. He can live in a dormitory also, or wherever you put him. As soon as he gets married, then he needs a separate apartment. He needs a lot of separate facility. So that is the nature. As soon as a person gets married or get attached to a stree, then the expansion happens. And then further expansion is in form of children and all. So that is the reason why a person is doing so many activities in this material world. So Prabhupada mentioned also people are running for economic development. They want money, basically for this purpose only. And then there is so much of competition, rat race in this present situation for making money and all. And people create enmity, there is scarcity, there are wars. So many countries are fighting with each other. No neighbors are living peacefully nowadays. So why? Because everyone wants resource of other country. Everyone wants to usurp the property of others, or everyone wants to exploit others for sense gratification only. So however it is being told, so much of promotion is being there that you enjoy sex, and you will become happy. But nobody has become happy in this world by enjoying sex. So many people have enjoyed with so many women. Like if you see, even in case of Prabhupada also, when he went to West, so there was no proper culture. People were living with each other, enjoying with different women, different nights, or even in daytime also. But still they were never satisfied. They were always looking for something more. And so this is called as that this cannot satisfy. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita also it is told, yehi samsparsa jab hoga, dukkha yonaya evate, adi antavanta kaunteya na te suramati. So basically, it is like putting ghee on fire if you want to enjoy more. And if you put ghee on fire, just for the time being, it is being visible that the fire has reduced, but immediately it becomes even more bigger. So as soon as one enjoys sex life, so then the attachment becomes very strong. That is what is called as Hriday Granthi. So it becomes a hard knot in the heart that is very difficult to overcome. But this Granthi is why? Because of this kama, the desire to enjoy only. And nobody has to taught about this. Prabhupada tells that everyone knows this. Nowadays, people want to educate, but even earlier, there was no education, but people were knowing about all these things. But the real education is actually how to teach people how to become detached from it and not become attached, or how to do it in a responsible way, in a civilized way, and not like an animal. So in present times, if we see also, people say, I cannot live without you, or you are my everything, and then they get married. After some time, then there's divorce, or after few days only, sometimes next day of marriage also, people start fighting with each other, because till now they were living different places. There was interaction for a small time, so then they were sweet interactions. But as soon as they come together, then there are a lot of issues. So that's why Kali Yuga, it is being mentioned also in 12th canto, Dampatye Bhiruchir Hetu, that people will live together just for the sex enjoyment. And as soon as a person is not able to satisfy, they will give up. It's not only for man, even women also. If the man is not able to satisfy, then she will go away with some other paramour, or they may kill the husband also for that purpose. And many times, they may not get married also, like nowadays it is happening. People will live together. Why? Because Prabhupada mentions in PQPA that basically this is like legalized prostitution people consider nowadays. That I get married and this is like enjoying sex only. So this is just legalized prostitution. So then why to spend so much money on this? Better, just spend whenever it is required. When I get desire, I'll go pay some money and enjoy. Why to spend so much money on keeping a legalized prostitute like that? It is being mentioned there. And Prabhupada gives analogy of like, nowadays nobody wants to keep cow. Why? Because it is available in dairy, 40 rupees, 50 rupees. If you maintain a cow, you need so much of space, so much of care, so much of time. Same way also people feel, why to maintain a wife? Better enjoy just like that only, but in civilized society, it is required to get marriage. Otherwise, it becomes like animals. That's why it is being trained, or it is being expected as humans that they should get married. So still, at least in India and some countries, this culture is there of getting married. And then as soon as a person is getting married, then he looks for children and so many other things. Like Prabhupada quotes also many times, Putra hinam griham sunyam. If there are no children, then the house is empty only. And for taking or getting children, people are endeavoring so hard. Sometimes people don't get children only. Nowadays, there's so much of technology being developed for this purpose. So much of expenditure happens. People develop so many technologies and pay in lakhs of rupees just to have children. And some people, they are forced to stop getting children. So both sides it is there. So both side it is having problems. If you have too many children, there's problem. If you don't have children, that is also a big problem. So many people go to sadhu, please bless me that I get child. Like Prabhupada mentions also about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. One big man has come and he told that this is my daughter-in-law. Please bless that she will get some child also. And I will give huge quantity of money if she gets child. So like that, many times such things happen. And when these things happen, then there's a feeling of aham mameti. This is mine, or I want this, I want this. So the people who are connected, the wife, the children, so for them, this feeling is there. They are mine. They are my people. I have to take care of them. And then person works very hard for that. And they want to acquire so many things for this purpose only. Like Prabhupada gives an example of America. So Western people went to America and they claim this is my land. Why? Because they want to enjoy, or they want to grow, and they want to develop in their own way the resources which we will enjoy. We will not allow black people to enjoy and all. So like that, so many feelings keeps coming. Like in one lecture I was hearing, there is a mention of one king in France. So he had developed a lot of opulence, and then he invited so many people to his kingdom, and he gave very nice facility to all of them. so much of hostility, very nice place to stay, and so much of enjoyment. But then they became envious, Why? Because he also wanted to impress only on them. The purpose of calling was that only. But it created envy. And then what they did, they spread this message all over among the citizens that this king is misusing your money, in terms of calling people and letting them enjoy. On whose money are they enjoying? On your money only. So what you should do, you should kill him only. And all these people together killed that king. So this is the result when people, in this world wants to make a control or make a show. I am a very big person. I am a big man. This is mine. This is my property. So this is what is mentioned even in Bhagavad Gita, also 16th chapter. So people want to impress like this, and by this person goes away from Krishna. Like Prabhupada mentions that this feeling increases as a person goes away. Krishna bhuliya jiv bhog vancha kare, pasate maya tare, jhapatiya dhare. So as soon as a person commits some sinful activities, he's caught. May not be in this material world by police, but by Lord, he's certainly punished. So as soon as we desire, then Lord sends us here in this material world. Until the time we will have feeling of this enjoyment, like Ravan had feeling of enjoying. Whomever he will see, he wants to enjoy. So he wanted to enjoy even with Mother Sita also. And for what purpose? That everything is for my enjoyment only. Same way also in material world, many people have this feeling. They want to just enjoy. But there, Prabhupada mentions also about this, that then she gets converted from Mother Lakshmi in the form of Durga. And then she gives misery in threefold miseries by her Trisul. So whatever way one wants to enjoy, but one cannot. There is no point of getting any sort of proper or eternal enjoyment in this field. And one keeps on trying to enjoy and impress in other ways, like somebody wants to enjoy by eating, if somebody is renounced also. So then Prabhupada mentions also in one place that now what people do is that they take appetizers before eating so that they will get a lot of hunger, and then they will eat a lot, and then after eat, then they will drink soda, to digest it. So this is all the desire to enjoy is there. But this is all animalistic life only. So if one wants to not lead an animalistic life, but lead a human type of life, then one has to understand that what is the purpose of life. One should not just think like a common animal. Like a common animal, a bear is taken to a slaughterhouse, others will also go behind. They don't worry about it, whether they will be killed or not. So people are not thinking only. Everyone is running like rat race, and modern time, all people are also encouraged in that way only. Their parents are also encouraging, the whole society is also encouraging in that way only. But finally, the concept of aham mameti is only there. Like Prabhupada gives example of even Gandhi and so many politicians, Karl Marx and all. So they want to help people, but on what consideration? They are my people. These are my nation people, so I need to help them. Or these laborers are suffering, so I need to help them. Nobody is caring for them. So this is also on this principle only, not on the principle of liberating them. So that thought process is not there. So that's why it is compared to the strands in a spider web. So the more we think about these things, the more it becomes stronger, and the more we get bound in this material world only. Now in the ahead, Prabhupada mentions about renunciates also. So renunciates also get attached in this world also. However, they are deciding to renounce, but sometimes they have issues, or they develop enmity with superiors or even a spiritual master also. Why? Because they cause hindrance in their sense gratification. They want to control, and then he feels disturbed. Kama esa krodha esa rajoguna samudbhava. So if the calm is disturbed, then it results in krodha. One becomes angry, and one thinks that these people are my enemies. They're not allowing me to live peacefully or to have a nice time here. And then he becomes inimical, even towards those who are actually his well-wishers. So such type of dissensions, that can cause disruption even in ISKCON society also. Prabhupada also used to tell that the internal fight is more problematic than external fight. That's why one has to be very careful, because if we are not working hard or struggling for the right cause, then by default a person goes down. That is the nature in this material world. Anything kept up will go down. For going up, one has to endeavor. Like for swimming up a stream, one has to endeavor. But for going down, there is no endeavor only. One can go by default. And one should not be proud about these things, because pride also covers a person to go away or to feel envious of others. Even Krishna cannot tolerate pride even in gopis. So then how he can tolerate for a sadhaka like us? So one has to be very careful. One should not become proud and be very careful in dealing with devotees, that we deal very nicely so that we don't get deviated or don't become proud. Like we are doing Bhakti Vaibhav or so many things, courses and all. So sometimes a person become proud that I have done Bhakti Vaibhav, and I know so many things. I can give so nice class. But then that pride also can cause problem. Like Roma Harsan Sut example is there. So then Balram punished him because he become proud. So same way also a person can become proud of his post, position, money, or whatever facilities he have, whatever post he has. But a renunciate should not become proud in these matters. He should know that all these things should be used for Krishna's service. But if we associate with material modes of nature a lot, then there is a risk. As if we are little bit also inattentive, then it can create havoc or it can create a lot of problems in a person's life. So one should never think that I have become liberated, but should always be careful in dealing with Maya. Like Bharat Maharaj is there. So Bharat Maharaj became little careless. He became attached to deer, and then he has to spend 2 more lifetimes like this. So one has to be very careful in dealing with material nature. Lord is ready to forgive his devotees. But if somebody is too much adamant to enjoy this material world, and again making mistakes or going in that direction, and Lord will certainly allow him to taste that, will allow him to fall down, and then as per his sincerity, he can come back. That's why one has to be careful. Like in Manu Samhita also it is told, Matra Swarsa Duhitra Va Naivi Viksa Sano Bhavit Balavan Indriya Gramo Vidwan Samapi Karsati. That a man has to be very careful, especially in lonely place, even to sit with his mother, children, daughter, sister, anyone. Why? Because when a man is alone with a woman, then there's always chances of getting sexually agitated. Like there's example of Lord Shiva also getting attracted to Mohini Murti. However, some of his assistants were there still. Or Brahma got attracted to Mother Saraswati also. So these examples are there in Shastras. So this is like butter and fire. Even if you keep butter for hundreds of years in fridge, but as soon as you bring it close to fire, it will melt. So this is very risky. Like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also banned Chota Haridas for this purpose only, because of such type of desires. So that's why one has to be very careful in dealing with opposite sex and keep distance from these things. Even Kunti Devi prays, even for children also, that I should not have any attachment. Sneha pasam imam chindi, idam pandusu vrishnisu. That I don't want to develop any attachment. And then what one has to do is develop attachment to devotees and chant offenselessly, like Haridas Thakur. So then he could not get bewildered by Maya. So if we also chant offenselessly, then we will also not get bewildered. Otherwise, there is every risk. Like Prabhupada also told once that I'll kick Maya with my boot. But then later on, he was praying very intensely to their lordships. And then when his disciples asked, what you are praying? Then he told that I was praying for mercy of Lord to get protected from Maya. So it's not that he was feeling that I'm very great and I can kick Maya. By taking shelter of Lord, one can get benefit or not get controlled by Maya. And in the last Prabhupada mentions also about like wife and children also can cause liberation. Like there are examples like Chintamani. So by her grace, Bilva Mangal Thakur became detached. Or Avanti Brahman example is there. Even Prabhupada gives his own example also, that his wife told that I want tea. So then Prabhupada left his home. And like that we see even in ISKCON also, so many devotees are there whose wife or children became devotees, and then their parents later on or their husband later on became devotees because of them. So now we will see something about the solution aspect also. So this problem is very prominent, but we have to work on the solution also. So the main aspect of solution that many places Prabhupada emphasizes also is that one should identify that I am not this body, I am soul. And one should try to cultivate spiritual qualities and not get overcome by ego and attachments of this material world. but get attached to the chanting of the holy name of the Lord and the association of devotees. And in that, practice Krishna consciousness together. Why? Because even if we go down here and there, they are there to help us. So there should be a very good association, good friendship among devotees, which will help. And in that, if somebody engages in selfless service to Lord, then one can get liberated, by engaging in the principle of yukta vairagya. So one should not try to enjoy, but should use everything in Krishna service. So when we do everything to please Guru and Krishna, then one can get liberated. Otherwise, there is risk. And if in general also we see, in Shastra there is mention of varnasram dharma. So there are 4 varnas and 4 ashramas: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas, and brahmana, kshatriya, vaisya, and sudra. So in the first 25 years, a person practices celibacy, or is taught how to remain celibate. So out of the 4 ashramas, 3 ashramas, one has to practice celibacy. In one ashram only it is allowed, grihastha ashram, to enjoy sex. But then after that, then one should become detached and take vanaprastha. And as a person becomes more detached, then he takes sannyas. So Vedic system also slowly elevates a person to go towards back to Godhead, on his path back home, back to Godhead. And that's why in Vedic system, if you see, brahmacharis and sannyasis are given respect. Why? Because they are free from sex desire. So if we see also this attraction, if we see just the body of the opposite sex also, this is all filled of abominable substances like blood, mucus, stool, urine. So many things are there. So are we attracted to these things? We are not attracted to these things. If we just from our body, if these things come, blood, mucus, stool, and urine, we immediately discharge it in a wrong place or in an unclean place and then take bath and come out. And when we see also like this, that his whole material body is made like this only, then one will automatically get detached from this material world and should see everything as Lord's property, not seeing everything as one's own property, trying to enjoy oneself. So isavasyam idam sarvam yat kincham jagatyam jagat. So this is all Lord's property and one should engage in Lord's service. Like Bhakti Vinod Thakur also says, Mayar vase yache bese kachu abu digu bhai. Jiva Krishnadas e viswas kadle to ar dukh nai. So if one knows that I am Krishnadas, then one will get free. Otherwise, one will get bound. Like there's example of Gajendra. So Gajendra took shelter of Lord, and then he became liberated. And so he came on the stage of Brahma Bhuta, Prasannatma. So one is not attached to this material world, so one is not envious. But by other processes, it is not so easy. Like Prabhupada gives example of Vishwamitra Muni. He also tried to do austerities for thousands of years, but then he got bewildered. Just by once, just hearing only ankle bells. But if one takes shelter of Lord, Maam eva ye prapadyante, maya metam tarantite, Devi esa gunmai mama maya durate. So it is not so easy to conquer Lord's maya. But if we take shelter of Lord, then Lord can help us. So these material desires are like heads of Ravana. Even when Lord Ram was killing, one by one it was coming again and again. But then finally Lord knew how to kill him. So if we also take shelter of Lord, then our all material desires can go away. Otherwise, they will keep popping up. So one has to take shelter. Take shelter of Lord in the form of Bhagavatam, in the form of this knowledge, in the form of devotees. By this, all these things can go away. Like Bhagavatam first canto, second chapter only it is mentioned. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samsaya, chiyante chasya karmani, this evatmaniswari. When one knows who I am and who the Lord is, then one can follow it. And then one can get detached. Yad anudhyasina yukta, karma granthi nibandhanam, chindanti ko vidastasya, ko no kuryat katharati. So when one hears Lord's glories, then his all desires are cut away. Like Bharat Maharaj was there. He had so much of opulence, but he could give up immediately because of his attraction to Supreme Lord. Yo dustayan chiti sutta swaraj lakshmi. So that sloka also Prabhupada quotes many times. So if one becomes detached from this material world and get attached to Lord, like Bhagavad Gita also it is told, Visya vinivartante niraharasya dehina, rasvarjam rasopyasya param dishtva nivartate. If one gets a higher taste, then lower taste is so easy to give up. Otherwise, one cannot give it up. So it's very difficult. It is even better than mukti also. Like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is told, Iha yasya harer dasye, Karmana manasagira nikhilaso api avasthasu jivan mukta se uchyate. So if one is serving Lord, it is better than mukti also. One becomes completely free from it. And if one follows Narad Muni footsteps or the great souls, Anya Bilasita Sunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulena Krishna Anusilanam Bhakti Ruttama. So if one serves like this, then he can become free from this material world. Otherwise, he will remain attached to this material world. So, like Mother Sita or people of Ayodhya wanted to serve Lord and serve him. So that way also we should also try to serve Lord, like all the devotees of the Lord. Like Prahlad Maharaj also gave up following his father, or Bali Maharaj gave up following his spiritual master also for pleasing Lord, because they were very clear that this is what Lord wants. So if one serves Lord, then it can happen. Tesam satatra yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yokam tam ye namapupyantite. And for that one has to do that one has to take shelter of the holy name of the Lord. Then his heart will get purified. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhav maha dava agni nirvapanam. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, that if we take shelter of the holy name of the Lord, then one can get liberated from this material world. And how one should take shelter of Lord? In the association of devotees. So if we take shelter of the association of devotees, then one can overcome Madan. Like Yamunacharya also says, Yad avadhi mama cheta Krishna padar vinde nav navarasa dhamni udyatam tantum asit. So then one feels distaste, even if one gets such a desire. And one should take shelter of Bhagavatottama. So this is mentioned in 11th canto, where if one takes shelter of great devotees of the Lord, then one can get liberated. So that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Prabhupada also used to say that one should live in association of devotees and should serve Lord. Like Raghunath Das Goswami got association of Haridas Thakur, then he became attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So a Vaishnava is always helpful. If we take shelter of great Vaishnavas like Bhagavatottama, then we can also get liberated from this material world. We'll also not get affected by these material desires, and we can also easily become liberated. So this is what is essence of this verse. So in conclusion, I like to say that this verse tells about attachment to this material world and how this principle of aham mimeti binds a person. And even in renounced order, one can become attached if he's not very careful. But if he takes shelter of the process of Bhagavatam and the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees, especially the great souls, then he can become liberated from this material. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Usko on.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you were in the presentation, you were mentioning about Vishwamitra Muni, that how he was practicing this austerity and penance, and then he later gets private. So that, but even devotees practicing devotional service, they also become victim. They also become victim to these allurements. So what is the difference between the two?
There is great difference. One thing is Vishwamitra Muni practiced for such a long time and so strongly, so strictly, but still he could not become free from it. But the devotees, even, they don't have to endeavor so much. The practice of Krishna consciousness is not so difficult. Like if we read even in Bhagavad Gita 9 canto, this Rajavidya Raju Guhyam, it is mentioned, this process is susukham. One can joyfully perform this process. So there is no misery while performing it. And there is a guarantee, neha bhi kramana susti, that even if one falls down for some time, then but he still gets human form of life and then again gets a chance as per his level of practice. So that is safe side for him. So that is the benefit of practicing devotion.
What I am saying is that that allurement, falling prey to the allurement, he also fell down and the devotees also fell prey. So what is the difference between the two? Because it is not even that for devotees practicing devotees are, they also gradually get purified, not that immediate. They also slip and fall. So so that's the difference. Means why models?
Yes. So in this case, we can see they are like even in Prabhupada's case also, many Prabhupada disciples also were there, but then they fell down. But some of them who very sincerely helped Prabhupada, then Prabhupada helped them to come back and then go back home, back to Godhead. And those who have not practiced that much, they still get help in the later life. But for yogis, they are on their own. They are not dependent on Lord. So that benefit is not for them. That benefit is only for devotees. So even if they fall down, they are assured help by Lord. Why? Because they are taking shelter of Lord.
Prabhuji, without means in this conditional state, we cannot practice bhakti without the condition of maituna bhava. So sometimes first category of people, they renounce everything and practice bhakti. In second type, uh, they practice bhakti with maituna bhava, and other persons, uh, they practice maituna bhava for serving the Lord, means getting the children's. So all these three category devotees, they are practicing bhakti. So what will be the destination? Destination will be same.
Yeah, destination will be same only. No? They will all go back home, back to Godhead. Only there may be different amount of time taken for one as per his attachments and as per his attachment to Lord and as per his attachment to
The
material.
duration will be same.
Duration may vary. That is obvious because it depends on intensity of practice.
Their
So like
struggles.
Dhruv Maharaj practiced for 6 months so intensely. So then he became liberated even quite quickly. Even at the end, when he went to Badrikashram, it is told very quickly means Vaikuntha Viman came. However, other sages were practicing. For them, it didn't came. Because Dhruv Maharaj has practiced so intensely earlier. So somebody who has practiced, even if he has entered in Grihastha life later on, but if he has practiced very intensely, he will get benefit for sure. There's no loss in bhakti, whatever one has done.
Among three, which one is best one?
First one is best, obviously. Prabhupada told so many. Without it, if you can do, that is best. Even in Varnashram Dharma also it is told, if one can remain, and there is no need to enter in Grihasthasram. But if one cannot, then get properly married and then go ahead, take one prastha also, take sannyas.
Why Maithan Bhav is so strong in material world?
This is the basic principle on which this material world is being created. So when Brahma started this creation, so that's why it is
You should tell how it is perverted reflection of
a perverted reflection of.
why this is so difficult, because
Yeah,
you have to prove that first. Why Maithan Bhav is so amazing that people are struggling hard to come out
Come
of it, because in pure form
and
it is love for Krishna.
love for Krishna.
So that's why we are struggling with it. So ashram is external thing, the internal matter.
Hmm.
If Krishna tells also Gita, Mithyachari Suchate or other things. So if somebody is intense in whichever ashram he is, then he can get quickly benefited. So external are there to helpful, but internal also person has to work upon. So I answered that question nicely. So we thank you for this wonderful presentation. Topic was quite I know, for renowned order person to speak on this such a topic with day-to-day worldly things. Really, it's a tough thing, but you have done very well to get smoothly and establish the points and helped us to get rid of this Metan Bhava. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
His Grace Mitra Krishna Prabhu ki jai.
30 minutes. Yeah. Huh? Perfect. After perfect. नहीं आया था कल आया था I came yesterday for you. First 2 days I was sick. Next 2 days I had Rajbhog Seva. मम ज्ञानतिमिन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ऑफ कर सकते हैं Hare Krishna. So, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, entitled The Activities of Prachetas, verse number 35. Yatredhyante katha mishtas trishnaya prashamo yataha nirvairam yatra bhuteshu nodvegye yatra kashana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Whenever pure topics of transcendental world are discussed, the members of the audience forget all kinds of material hankerings, at least for the time being. Not only that, but they are no longer envious of one another, nor do they suffer from anxiety or fear. Purport. Vaikuntha means without anxiety, and the material world means full of anxiety. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Sada Samudvigna Dhyam Asad Grahat. The living entities who have accepted this material world as a residence are full of anxiety. A place immediately becomes Vaikuntha whenever the holy topics of personality of Godhead are discussed by pure devotees. This is the process of Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Chanting and hearing about Supreme Lord Vishnu, as the Supreme Lord himself confirms. Naham tisthami vaikunthe yoginam hrideshu va tatra tisthami narada yatra gayanti madbhaktaha. My dear Narada, actually I do not reside in my abode, Vaikuntha, nor do I reside within the hearts of the yogis, but I reside in that place where my pure devotees chant my holy name and discuss my form, pastimes, and qualities. Because of the presence of the Lord in the form of transcendental vibration, the Vaikuntha atmosphere is evoked. This atmosphere is without fear and anxiety. One living entity does not fear another. By hearing the holy names and glories of the Lord, a person executes pious activities. Shavanam Shanvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Bhagavatam 1-17. Thus his material hankerings immediately stop. This Sankirtan movement, started by the Society of Krishna Consciousness, is meant for creating Vaikuntha, the transcendental world that is without anxiety even in this material world. The method is the propagation of Shavanam Kirtanam process throughout the world. In the material world, everyone is envious of his fellow man. Animalistic envy exists in human society as long as there is no performance of Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Prachetas therefore decided to remain always
in the society of devotees, and they considered that to be the highest benediction possible in human life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, 1:7, right? Hare Krishna. So, this is a beautiful section, very beautiful verse where Prabhupada is glorifying about. In essence, we can see that the purpose of ISKCON is been encapsulated in this verse. Okay, we'll discuss that. So, what is the background? We see this chapter, 30th chapter, the activities of Prachetas. The Prachetas, they went for doing austerities on the order of their father, and then on the way they got to meet Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, the Mahajana, Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva gave them Rudra Gita. And by the chanting of the Rudra Gita, together in the company of devotees, all the Prachetas together, they got darshan of Lord Vishnu. And when they got darshan of Lord Vishnu blessed them with some benedictions, what to do further, those things he told. And then the Prachetas offer some prayers. Prachetas offer some prayers to the Lord. First, they glorify the Lord. And now here in this section, which is verse number 33 to 46. So this is the flow of the chapter. In this section, they are offering prayers to the Lord. And in the prayers, what is the benediction they are asking for? This is a very beautiful thing to see and learn and apply in our own life, right? What is the highest benediction they are asking for? So from 33rd verse onwards, this is 35th verse, the 33rd verse, they are praying. They are praying here. Yavate maya sprishta brahmana iha karma bhi tavat bhagvat prasanganam sangasano bhave bhave. So they are telling, dear Lord, as long as we are remaining in this material world, let us be in the association of devotees, life after life, so that we can hear from them your katha, your pastimes. So so they are asking for association of devotees who are discussing Krishna katha. That is 33rd verse. And in the next verse, one may ask why you are asking association, like Lord in front of them, still they are asking association of devotees, right? So, and in the next verse they are telling about this. Tulyam lavinapi na swargam na punarbhavam bhagvat sangi sangasya martyanam kimuta shishaha. So in this verse, previous to this today's verse, they're telling even a moment's association with a pure devotee can't be compared to being transferred to heavenly planets or merging into Brahman effulgence in complete liberation. For living entities who are destined to give up the body and die, association with pure devotee is the highest benedictions. So they are telling what is the highest benediction? Association with devotees. And this does not compare with even going to Swarga or getting liberation. So Lord could have asked, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in there, like Lord could have asked, you want liberation, ask from me. But they're telling, no, the highest benediction is association of your devotees, where your katha can be discussed. And then we come to today's verse, right, where they're talking. So that this verse specifically, so what you do in the association of devotees is Krishna katha. So what happens by hearing Krishna katha? So the 4 effects of Krishna katha are being told in next 2 verses. In this verse, 3 effects, and the next verse after this, the 4th effect is told. So 3 words which are there in the shloka are Trishnaya Prashamo, relief from material hankerings. So when associates with devotees and hears Krishna katha, the Krishna katha leads to 3 things. Trishnaya Prashamo, that is relief from material hankerings. That's first thing. Second thing is Nirvairam, free from envy. Third is Nodvega. One is not having any fear. So these are 3 things. And in the next verse, they say Yatra Narayana Sakshat, which Prabhupada will cover in the purport also this point. So there are 4 effects of hearing Krishna katha, which is the topic of this verse. Right. So because Prabhupada in the purport, as you see, he talks about these things, and at the same time he talks about many other things also. Right. So we'll cover both ways, the purport and that way. So first we go to the translations there. Prabhupada is talking about this Trishnaya Prashamo. That Krishna Katha, discussion of Krishna Katha leads to freedom from material hankerings. Now Prabhupada in the purport first talks about Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntha means a place without anxiety, right? Vikata Kuntha Yatra Vaikuntha, right? So that is a place of no anxiety, a place which is free from material anxiety. And on the contrary, this world, material world, is a place full of anxiety. Like Prabhupada quotes that verse, sada samudgandhya. So everyone is in anxiety in this world, right? So every day in the morning you pray, samsara davanal, right? So this world is a davanal, this samsara is a davanal, burning place, forest fire, and without any reason some problems keeps coming. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says dukhalayam ashashvatam, right? So how does one get out from this world of anxiety? The verse says Krishna Katha, right? So we see once two fat ladies came, and they came and sat and to hear Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, "You are not this body of spirit soul." And immediately they were like, their anxiety was gone, right? We are not this body. So for so many days we were thinking we are these fat bodies, and but now we understand. Oh, so immediately their mental anxiety was gone, relieved. You're not this body, that fat body, right, ladies, right? So this is what we see. And so many cases of book distributors we have seen that when someone is on the verge of committing suicide, someone has locked himself in a car, and then engine he has switched on, and then whole gas is coming up. He's about to die, and then book distributor knocks on his window and then says, "Book, book, book." And then he gets frustrated. And what is this? People don't let me die also peacefully. And then he lowers down the window and gets a book, and then he reads Krishna Katha. His material anxiety is relieved, right? So Srila Vishnath Thakur in the commentary to this verse says, devotee association is recommended for all times and all places, for everyone, even for sadhana siddha devotees, sadhakas, and for the perfected siddha bhaktas. For both sadhaka bhaktas and siddha bhaktas, devotee association is recommended. And this is what we see in the life of the gopis of Vrindavan. When they were having spiritual anxiety, spiritual vipralamba bhav, they were away from Krishna, and then they were searching for Krishna, and they were singing the Gopi Geetam, and then they sing this famous verse, Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shavanamangalam Shrimadattatam Bhuvi Grinantiye Puridajana. So this is what the gopis, the siddhas, like the siddha bhaktas, the topmost of our devotees, gopis, they are also talking about this point. Kathamritam, right? So har koi is jagat mein mrit hai. Everyone is dead, right? So मृत को जगाने के लिए क्या चाहिए? कथामृत चाहिए, कथा का अमृत चाहिए, मरे को जलाने के लिए, right? And हर कोई जनरली बोलते हैं, people say जल ही जीवन है, right? तो जल जीवन है, तो हमको क्या चाहिए? जल्पा. जल्पा means कृष्ण कथा. Yes. Okay. Just a few lines. So jalpa means, because this will more look nice in Hindi. So thoda sa. So jal hi jivan hai, right? So jalpa. So this Krishna Katha is the jivan for all the devotees. Krishna Katha. This is what the gopis also seeing and telling here. So, and we see, what did the gopis do? They were discussing Krishna Katha, and then they were pacifying each other. Their spiritual hankerings, their spiritual distress was also getting pacified because of Krishna Katha. As Vishnath Thakur says that this verse is applicable for pure devotees also. For Krishna Katha is recommended in the association. So they were in the association, they were enacting the pastimes of Krishna. This is another level ahead. They were speaking Krishna Katha, they were enacting Krishna Katha, and they were doing all the things. So we can see the drama. So that drama also helps us. Like Prabhupada would also emphasize on paintings. These paintings are windows to spiritual world, and Prabhupada would encourage drama and movies. So this is also one way to broadcast Krishna Katha. Right. So this one side point. So we see even Krishna Katha is an association of devotees is required even the Siddha stage. Right. When they are in separation. Obviously, there's not material, that's spiritual vipralamba, but still this is required there also. So association is always recommended, and Krishna Katha is the only medicine there, right? Kathamritam. And many examples we see in Srimad Bhagavatam where this association of devotees and Krishna Katha, how by hearing Krishna Katha, one is relieved from its one's material anxiety. So Vidura was kicked out from palace of Hastinapur by Duryodhana. So what did he do? He went to he got association of Maitreya Muni, had Krishna Katha, all his material anchorings were pacified. Right? So if you see example of Parishit Maharaj, Bhagavatam, the whole scenario of the setting, the scene of Bhagavatam is how Parishit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days. But then what did he do? Krishna Katha. So in the association of devotees. So he did Krishna Katha. Sita Mata, she was in Lanka, she was in distress. What was her solace? When Hanuman did Ram Katha. So again, Katha, then she got pacified that time, right? And then we see Krishna Sudama, they met together after a long time. What did they discuss? Basically Krishna Katha in Gurukul days, what they were doing. And then Sudama's distress was also pacified, meeting Krishna and doing, right? So one example we see, like a real life example we have seen, once one person, again little Hindi because usi mein samajh mein aayega, right? So and little, it is film song but quoted by Radha Gopinath Prabhu also. Can I quote? No, okay. So, okay, you'll understand what is that song. So then one person he heard, he was very distressed in life, and then he heard a song, right? Ki there is a world exists where there is no asu, there is no gum, only pyar hi pyar hai wahan par, like something like that, some song which I can't quote here, right? So then he was surprised by hearing, is there a world like this, where there's a place like this where there is no gum, only love, right? So then he found out the author, kisne lyrics likha, right? So he went to that person who wrote this song and he asked him, where is this place which you have described in this song? So then he said, nothing, this place does not exist, go back. But he was still having that faith, no, this must exist somewhere. So one day he came to Radha Gopinath temple and he was sitting in the Bhagavatam class, Brahma Samhita, right? So where Brahma Samhita was chanted, and then it was Katha, Ganam, Natyam, right? Ishvara, Paramasha, all this. So description of the spiritual world is also mentioned, that he heard that. And then he heard from the speaker of the class, there is a world beyond this, right? So then he was pacified. So this Krishna Katha relieved his misery. Right? This is a practical example we'll see. Now we go to the purport. Now Prabhupada talks about the next thing in the purport. He talks, right, ki first he describes Vaikuntha and material world difference. So how to create, how does a place become Vaikuntha? So how does a place become Vaikuntha? Prabhupada writes in the purport, ki as soon as this discussion of Krishna Katha, the process of Shravanam Kirtan is going on, Shravan Kirtanam Vishnu, Prabhupada quotes that shloka of Prahlad Maharaj. So Navida Bhakti is happening there. So then Lord is present there. And he quotes this verse from Padma Puran. Naham tishtami vaikunthe yoginam hide shubha yatar gayanti mad bhakta tattar tishtami narada. So Krishna is telling here clearly, I don't reside in Vaikuntha. I don't reside in the heart of the yogis, but I reside in a place where my pure devotees are discussing Krishna Katha. So this is a place becomes Vaikuntha where there's Krishna Katha going on. Right. So one nice thing which can learn from here is, spiritual world or Vaikuntha is not some geographical place, a place up high there only. It's obviously there, but at the same time, Vaikuntha, I was hearing from a lecture of Radhanath Maharaj, so he was telling, Vaikuntha is a state of consciousness. It's a place, right? So there's a place of consciousness, and as mentioned in the shloka, where there's Vaikuntha activities are going on, where Krishna Katha is going on, glorification of Krishna is going on, and more will come up in the purport. What are the characteristics of Vaikuntha? Prabhupada will describe further. So this is what, so Vaikuntha is not something up high there. It's available right here, right now, here, if we are doing Krishna Katha in the association of devotees, right? So we see that from the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would see a forest, he will remember Vrindavan. He will see a river, a sea, he will remember Yamuna. Right? So this is what, Sthavar Jangam na dekhi tara murti, sarvata hoy nije ishtadeva spurti. So this is what is a devotee, right? Always, same thing Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yoma pashyati sarvatra. So always seeing Krishna everywhere. So Krishna consciousness, to be always conscious of Krishna, always seeing the connection of Krishna. Right? And Lord Chaitanya would say, Moraman Vrindavan. So his mind was like that, right? And Prabhupada, in one of lectures and which is written in his book, Quest for Enlightenment, there he says, creating Vaikuntha. So there Prabhupada quotes Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says, Yar ye dina grihe bhajana dekhi griheta goloka bhaya. So even if someone can be a householder, but in the house, in a grihastha life, if Krishna is the center, Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Katha, Krishna Puja is going on, then that place is not of this material. That house has become a temple, a Vaikuntha. So that is what he's telling. This is what he says. And then Prabhupada says further in that lecture, Andantar Paramanu Chayantarastham. Just like Krishna is spread everywhere, he has entered into every universe, he has entered into every atom, everywhere he is present. Same way, similarly, Krishna's abode, Golok Vrindavan, is spread everywhere. This Prabhupada writes in that book, Quest for Enlightenment. So how is Krishna present everywhere? By the presence of Krishna's devotees. And same, Prabhupada then quotes this same shloka, Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe, that shloka, where my devotees are chanting Krishna Katha, I stay there. So this is what, so Vaikuntha is present everywhere. And we see in the life of our dear Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj, when he was in the last stages, Radhanath Maharaj and Bhakti Tirth Maharaj both were discussing Krishna Katha, Chaitanya Katha. And then at one point, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj said, Maharaj, we are there, we are there, we are there. Maharaj told, where are we? Where, Maharaj? We are there, we are in Vaikuntha. This is what we do in Vaikuntha. Just enjoy Krishna Katha, discuss Krishna. We are there and it's amazing. We cannot, I will never give up this situation for any other thing. So he was seeing that curse of cancer as a blessing because he was getting entrance into the Lord's abode. And this is what in Chaitanya Charitamrita we see in the higher Ante Leela, Lord Chaitanya, he would enter into the pastimes. So this is what, when we are doing Krishna Katha, when doing Krishna Kirtan, Nama reveals, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, and Dham will be revealed, everything. So this is what, so this is, when we're doing it nicely, properly, sincerely, then it will be revealed. And same thing we see in the case of Kulashekar Maharaj, he was also having that feeling of being present in the pastimes, right? So now then further, Prabhupada further goes and he talks about what are the characteristics of Vaikuntha. So the shloka says, Nadvego, right? There is no anxiety, right? Nadvego. So there is no anxiety in Vaikuntha, right? So one living entity does not fear another there. And by hearing, so how by this will happen? Prabhupada quotes this shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. Shrunvatam Sakatha Krishna Punyatirtha Nishevanat Hridayantastu Bhadrani Vidhunoti Surhutsatam. So when Krishna sees someone is very eager to hear his message, then he clears all this material hankerings and anxiety. He cleanses his heart. Right? So whenever there is offenseless hearing, glorification of Lord going on, Prabhupada writes in that purport of this verse, wherever there is offenseless hearing, glorification of the Lord going on, then Krishna takes charge and he does the Chetodarpanamarjam, right? The Swachh Hriday Abhiyan, right? People are after us cleaning the country, and then Krishna cleans the heart, right? So then Prabhupada goes next for it. So what is the practical application? He tells, Prabhupada says, the purpose of ISKCON is to create Vaikuntha. The purpose of ISKCON is to create Vaikuntha. So the Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Sankirtan movement started by Society of Krishna Consciousness is meant to create Vaikuntha, a world without anxiety, even in this material world. And that is what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada went and opened so many temples. New Vrindavan, replica of Vrindavan, Prabhupada desired. So this is all Vaikuntha. Prabhupada created that Vaikuntha. So Prabhupada talks about the purpose of ISKCON is to create Vaikuntha. And then Prabhupada goes further and he writes, how will we create Vaikuntha? So how to create Vaikuntha? So there are two things which Prabhupada writes. One thing Prabhupada writes in the translations, the hearers of Krishna Katha don't envy one another. This is in the translation, right? And in the purport, Prabhupada writes here, the method of creating Vaikuntha is propagation of Shravanam Kirtanam. So two things, Achar and Prachar. So one is through preaching, we create Vaikuntha, and through Achar. Now we'll focus first on preaching aspect, right? So Prabhupada says how to create Vaikuntha, how will ISKCON create Vaikuntha? Through Achar and Prachar. So Prachar, that is why we have this book distribution, right? Prabhupada said books are the basis. We have this Bhadra Marathon coming up, right? So Bhagavatam distribution, we need to do Prachar, book distribution, and then Prachar of what? Holy name. That is Harinam Sankirtan. In Rath Yatra, I would really Harinam Sankirtan, or whenever possible. And then there is Krishna Katha. Nityam Bhagat Seva, daily Krishna Katha is going on, right? In the temples, what does go on? So Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Prasad Vitaran, and Krishna Siksha, to the books, to the classes going on. So this is what we create Vaikuntha through Prachar, preaching. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur would also say, there are three essential principles of Vaishnavas: Namaruchi, Jivadaya, and Vaishnavasya. So Jivadaya comes, again, Prachar comes there. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur will also say, Pran Achayar se hetu Prachar. Right? So this is preaching is the essence, Prabhupada would say. So books are the basis, preaching is the essence. Prachar hi sare, Prabhupada would say. And if you see all the 7 purposes of ISKCON, which Prabhupada has written down, the 7 purposes, it is all based on to preach. Preach the books, create temples for preaching purpose, right? Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Prasad, all these things. So all the 7 purposes are about book distribution, creating temples, creating a non-envious environment, right? Creating a Vaikuntha, so that everyone is relieved from this piece. And this is what Prabhupada, the shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.11 says, Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishokam abhadvati api namanyantasya yasho ankitani yat shunvanti gayanti grinanti sadava. So this Bhagavatam is meant to bring about a viplava, revolution in the impious lives of the misdirected civilization. Right? So this is preaching through Bhagavatam, Krishna Katha again. Right? So many materialistics, they are preaching mundane vibration and increasing Gramya Katha. But then we should use all the facilities possible and propagate Krishna Katha. That is why Prabhupada said utility is the principle. Preaching is the essence, utility is the principle. Books are the basis, all these things. So utility is the principle. So we have Hare Krishna TV, social media, and all different ways where this Krishna Katha should be broadcasted more and more. Right? So this is Prachar part. And then Prabhupada also mentions about the Achar. Right? In the material world, so in the translation Prabhupada talks about envy. There is no envy. So material world is a place of envy, because we came in this world, Ichha Dvesh Samuthena Dondavamena Bharata. So because of Dvesha, because of envy, come to this world. And we still have that envy, then we have envy in Vaikuntha, no vacancy, envy. Right? So Prabhupada writes in the purport about this acharan, that ki animalistic envy exists in human society as long as there is no performance of Sankirtan Yajna, of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this Prabhupada writes in the purport. Right? So when we chant this Krishna mantra, we get cleansed of this envy. Cheto Darpana Marjanam happens. Right? So Prabhupada would say, when we clap our hands in the kirtan, all the birds of envy sitting on our shoulders would fly off. So this is how our acharan can be purified. When you can be removed of this envy by following this process of kirtanam. And we see that. Where is the example in Srimad Bhagavatam? After hearing Krishna Katha, people are no longer envious of one another. So we see the setting of Srimad Bhagavatam. 7 days Katha was going on. There were so many munis. Munde, like everyone has different opinions. But then they were ready to hear one opinion. No questions. Only question asked was by Parishit Maharaj, as we see. Right? So they were all in rapt attention, hearing. So they had different opinions. That's why Shukdev Goswami would speak to clarify certain things. He would not speak higher topics because he knew that people were not so qualified. But still they heard Krishna Katha. They were different munis. They were in rapt attention. In Srimad Bhagavatam, again, we see there is an example of Diti. She was envious of Indra, but because she did devotional service, she got purified of that envy. So this Krishna Katha frees one from envy. And the classical envy, because Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, is animalistic envy. So where this, we see when a tiger sees a deer, he sings Mahaprasade Govinde. And when a deer sees the tiger, he sings Namaste Narasimhaya. Right? So, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going through that Jharkhand forest, both the tigers and deers, they were embracing and kissing and dancing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. This is what happens by chanting those Hare Krishna mantra. Even the animals can give up their envy, what to speak of human beings. Right? So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has practically demonstrated, how one can be freed from this envy by this chanting of this Hare Krishna mantra, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport. So there is no envy in the spiritual world. And Srimad Bhagavatam says that in a spiritual world, there are so many different fragrant flowers, but then they give way to Tulasi. They respect Tulasi, who is there on the lotus feet of the Lord. There's so many nice singing birds, but then when a humming bee is singing the glories of Lord, they are allowing it to sing and they keep quiet. So although he's not a good singer, but then they allow it. So this is what is non-envious environment Prabhupada is talking about. This is what we see in ISKCON, right? Normally in materialistic world, what happens? There's so much envy among people. The Hindus and the Muslims envious of each other fighting. The Christians and Jews fighting, right? We see the Indians and Pakistanis, they're fighting. But in ISKCON, people of different countries, different religion, different races, the blacks and whites and Americans, there was a riots there, right? So then when they come to ISKCON or when they do Bhakti, Krishna Katha, so then this envy they are able to give. And they are becoming best of the friends. An Indian devotee and a Pakistani devotee will dance together in Kirtan. A Jewish background devotee and a Christian background devotee will dance together in the Kirtan. A Hindu, right? Like that. So a black and a white, we see that examples, right? So Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 1533, purport, he writes, the achar, what achar has to be there? So everything is in harmony there in spiritual world, right? So there he writes, if the same principle of the spiritual world is observed here, wholly or partially, then this world is also Vaikuntha. So it is with any society, such an international study of Krishna consciousness. If the members of ISKCON putting faith in Krishna as the center, put Krishna in the center, and live in harmony according to the order and principles of Bhagavad Gita, then they are living in Vaikuntha, not in the spiritual world. So how to create Vaikuntha? By putting Krishna in the center, by following the teachings of Krishna as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So putting Krishna in the center means samsiddhir haritoshnam. Everything is in harmony because everything is for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna is in the centers, right? So that is how we can give up envy. Putting Krishna in the center. So why does, when Bhakti Thakur, when two devotees would be having not good relations, conflicts with each other, so he would call both of them, come and glorify each other. You are why only finding faults in him? Now you tell the good qualities in this devotee, and he had to just think and find out the true qualities, and he had to speak, and then he will tell the other devotee. Now you tell the good qualities in his. Right? So one thing we learn from here is, so when we are not able to see good in others, so how to overcome this? So antidote of envy is appreciation. So when we appreciate the good qualities in others, we may see faults, they may have faults, but then we overlook those faults and see the good qualities. So we appreciate, and then we create a Vaikuntha atmosphere. This is what Prabhupada wants us from. So we should put Krishna in the center, and we see that this devotee is serving Krishna. And so Bhagavatam is glorification of Bhagavan and devotees. This is Advai Gyan. Prabhupada mentions in one place, this is Advai Gyan. Right? So if you glorify Krishna or glorify Krishna's devotees, both are same. So both are same. So glorification of devotees is also glorification of Krishna, because Bhagavata is book of Bhagavata and Granth Bhagavat, Krishna Bhagavat, and then Bhakta Bhagavat. Right? So in spiritual world, there is no envy. We see same thing in Radharani in spiritual world. She tells to Krishna, oh Krishna, this devotee is better than me. Please accept him. So this is what is the level of atmosphere which we as members of ISKCON are supposed to create. Prabhupada wants, we have to create Vaikuntha. So this is the acharan, appreciating devotees. Then there will be a non-envious environment. So we have to give up envy and cooperate. Right? We have to give up our envy and then cooperate. The Prabhupada said this, that if you want to show your love for me, then cooperate to carry on this mission together when I am gone. So if we cooperate with each other, we just overlook the faults, we overlook the previous conditionings, and then just go up. So this is the purity. Purity is the force Prabhupada says. So this is the purity, a heart which is not envious. So this is what purity is the force. When we have that, we can do wonderful. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, the chapter Forest of Material Existence, there Prabhupada writes how this material world is filled of envious people. And then there also Prabhupada writes, the Krishna conscious movement aims at creating an atmosphere of non-envy. This is the purpose of Krishna conscious movement. Of course, it is not possible for everyone to become Krishna conscious, but the Krishna conscious movement can create an exemplary society where there is no envy. So this is what ISKCON is meant to create. A Vaikuntha atmosphere, a non-envious atmosphere. And how do we do that? That acharan, what is that thing? As mentioned in the peace formula verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita 5:29. Bhoktaram tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhudam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. So when we understand Krishna is the original enjoyer, he is the enjoyer. I am not the enjoyer. We are not envious of Krishna. Why only he should enjoy, I should enjoy? Right? So that envy is not there. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. Nothing is my property. Everything is Krishna's property. and he is the ever-wishing friend of everyone. So when we have this acharan, when we understand this thing, we live by this thing, verse, then there can be peace. So what is the conclusion? Prabhupada writes in the last sentence of this verse, be in the association of devotees and have Krishna Katha. So Prabhupada writes here that the Prachetas therefore decide to remain always in the society of devotees. And that is the highest benediction possible in human life. This is what Prabhupada concludes the last sentence of this verse. So we see the same thing. What the Prachetas asked from the Lord. Lord is in front, but they're asking association of devotees. Same thing we see. Prahlad Maharaj is there, my Dev is there, but he's asking, I want the association of my Narad Muni, my guru. Right? So he's asking me. Haridas Thakur, what did he ask in Mahaprakash Lila? Give me association of devotees always. And this is what Prithu Maharaj in 4th canto, 420 and 26th verse he says. My dear highly glorified Lord, if one in the association of pure devotees hears even once the glories of your activity, he does not, unless he is nothing but an animal, give up the association of devotees. For no intelligent person would be careless as to leave their association. The perfection of chanting and hearing about your glories was accepted even by the goddess of fortune, who desired to hear your unlimited activities and transcendental glories. So Prathuma is also telling the same thing. Association. Who will give up association? One who is an animal. And same thing Shastra says, sadhu sanga, sarva shastra koy, lava matra sadhu sange, sarva siddhi hoy. So everywhere it is told. And what we do in association with it is, Bhagavad Gita 10.9 says, Machita madgata prana, bodhayanta parasparam, katyantasya mam nityam, tushyanti charamanti cha. So this is what devotees are supposed to do. Associate with devotees and relish in the Krishna Katha. The 5 potent forms of bhakti are association, books, Bhagavatam, chanting, deity worship, and dhamvas. But without the association devotees, other things is not possible. If association is there, everything is possible. Tanendra charana sevi bhakta sanevas, janame janame hoy abhilas. All devotees are praying this. And this is what Narottam Thakur says, Chadiya Vaishnava seva nischat paichekeva. Without association devotees, one cannot go up, get deliverance. So Prabhupada says, never leave ISKCON, be in the association of devotees. One who is insane will only think he can practice without the association of devotees. And Prabhupada, in 11th canto, again, it is the shloka comes. Parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavad yashaha mitho ratir mithas tushtit nivritin mitha atmanaha. So one should always learn how to associate with devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying. A devotee thus develops loving friendship. They feel mutual happiness and satisfaction. And by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. So now I quickly summarize. So we see how the Prachetas, they ask for the highest benediction is association of devotees. And association of devotees, what to do? Do Krishna Katha. What happens with that Krishna Katha? 4 effects we discussed. No dvaiga. There is no material hankering. No fear. Right? There is no fear. And then there is no envy. And then Narayana is Sakshat present there. There are 4 effects of Krishna Katha. And then Prabhupada in the purpose talks about creating Vaikuntha. Wherever Krishna's Katha is there, Vaikuntha is there. And what it means to be Vaikuntha, there is no enviousness. Right? So the purpose of ISKCON is to create Vaikuntha. And how we can do it? By Prachar and Achar. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. Prabhu, you are mentioning that Srila Prabhupada wanted to make this Vaikuntha. He created Vaikuntha. So we are as we hear Krishna Katha, one of the effects is that we become free from the envy. So we hear Krishna Katha and we have been hearing from many years, but one devotee yesterday, but the envy is still there is so much envy among when we are interacting with the devotees and so how do we understand it, or what are the steps how we can actually rectify from the situation, how to understand this?
Yeah. So because we're not applying the process properly, that means.
So what should we do in order to how we can hear Krishna Katha? What are the ways we can improve that?
Yeah. So Shushrushadhanasya Vasudev Katharuchi Syan Mahatsya Punyatirtha Nishevanat. So that we have to develop the eagerness to hear Krishna Katha. How it happens? By serving a great Mahat. Jahar nikate gele papa dure jai. So when we associate with great devotees, all our faults will go away. We have to also give up envy, as Lord Chaitanya told to Amogha. Amogha, why you are keeping this envy in your heart? Remove this. So we have to do our endeavor. At the same time, we have to go to the physician, the great devotees, And we have to go to the book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat, as Prabhupada writes in that translation. The both this Nashta Parayasho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavasya Bhakti Toshle Bhakti Bhakti Nashtiki. So there are two Bhagavats, book Bhagavat and person Bhagavat. So we have to associate both. Nityam Bhagavasya when do, then this Nashta Parayasho Bhadreshu. All the Bhadra. And the greatest of Bhadra is envy, will go away. So Prabhupada there writes, one has to do it sincerely. One has to be very honest. Offenselessly one has to. Eto Bahujanam yadi kare Shravana Kirtan Tabutanaya Krishna Pade Prema. Right? So why, even if you do many years of Krishna Katha, Shravana Kirtan, still the effect will not be seen. If you are not doing it nicely. If you are doing offenses, then it will not happen. So we have to do it in a very pure way, with a desire, with that eagerness, with that lolium, then it will happen.
But yeah, you were mentioning also in the class that it is like Vaikuntha only. So if we are in Vaikuntha, then why so many conditions? Means in the sense one feels also like I am trying to practice, I'm being here, but still so many problems are still there. We are still experiencing problems. We are told that we are in Vaikuntha, but we are experiencing so many kunthas. So how we resolve this conflict?
Yeah, because we are not in connection with Krishna. Is Krishna conscious? Are we Krishna conscious? Not. If you're not Krishna conscious, then this is what happens. So we are physically present in a institution, but then we are not seeing that moment-to-moment connection with Guru Krishna, and we're not seeing that. We are not endeavoring for that. Then we see the problems. But then the same devotee can be here, but then he is not getting affected. If a pure devotee is here, he will not getting affected. But because we are not, but then the solution is stay in the association of devotees. Prabhupada writes, even one thinks that this ISKCON is filled with neophyte devotees, still one should continue and to chant and associate with spiritual master and go on. So don't leave this process. Lage raho, pak jaoge. So continue the process.
Yeah, that is there.
So we are kacha am right now.
The feeling of Vaikuntha is not there. That is my question.
If
we are in Vaikuntha, then that some feeling should be there that yes, we should be able to experience it to some
Vaikuntha,
extent.
what happens? Katha, Gana, Natyam. So every day we are having Mangal Arati. Why that feeling is not there? So we are not seeing in that way. That means every day we are singing, every day we are taking darshan of the Lord, every day serving the Lord, we are chanting the names of God. This is what happens. Na? Glorification is happening. Nityam Bhagavat Seva is happening. We are having devotees. We are seeing Vaikuntha men who are Vaikuntha, they have Kanti, Tilak, Japamala. They're doing all this. All the Vaikuntha actors, no one is discussing politics like that here. Some may discuss, then we avoid those associations. So we have to associate with Vaikuntha like people, because in association also we have to then see those who are Vaikuntha like behavior, then we associate with them more. Then you will get that feeling more. You do that Vaikuntha like activities, you associate with devotees who doing that Vaikuntha, you will have that feeling.
One more question was there, like related to, you quoted one example of that two ladies who were fat, and then when they heard we are soul, then they felt relief. But is this the type of relief which is being mentioned? Because it doesn't seem that it is a spiritual feeling. It is just a relief of that, means feeling of little bad that I am not getting thin or something like that. I am working hard, but nothing is happening with this body. So or is it what you have quoted? Like you have quoted that one gets relief by just hearing this.
So this is also one instant relief they got, no? Because of that, they had that faith and they took it to forward process. So this has also helped them. This is a startup, right? So they got a starting feeling because they were in misery having this body. Someone can be miserable.
But is this a spiritual feeling?
The knowledge of the soul is spiritual.
Yeah, that is
so
there.
you're
But
not
the feeling of that relief. What you have
it's a glimpse, yeah, it is there, no? Because I'm not the soul. So and you are having that understanding, that just knowledge you got, theoretical knowledge they got, and that because of that they felt, no? What feeling they got, they only know. We can't comment on that. But then this was thing they got, no? Relief. They felt happy after this knowledge. And they were hearing from Prabhupada directly, and they were hearing Krishna Katha in the form of Krishna Sandesh, that we are not this body, we are soul.
Same question continue. So your class is so nice, and your this slokas and presentation is so nice. You convince this material world is also means material world means devotees association also same Vaikuntha is there. But in the Vaikuntha, there is no Janma Martu Jarayadi. We have so many disease, birth, old age. So how can we judge the same Vaikuntha is here? Although Prabhupada says it is correct, but now enemy and who is two things is there. Another thing is you mentioned.
First, I covered this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you mentioned, birth hold disease is not there in Vaikuntha, but it's here. Yeah. So it is here. But then a devotee who's having Vaikuntha consciousness will not get affected by that. He'll not be affected by that. It's just, he will see it in that way. Tatte nukampam susamikshmano hunjana evatma krito vipakam hidvagvapurbhir vidadam namaste jive tayo mukti pade sadaya bhak. So he will see that it is my karmic reaction coming. It is not, like, he'll not be affected by those. He'll just thank Krishna, he'll continue his bhakti. He'll not be affected by those externals. That is what a devotee's consciousness, that is what we are supposed to come to. So these things will come, even if Prabhupada also had some health issues, health problems, and he told, don't think it will not happen to you. So he told that. So whenever this thing is happening, Prabhupada is telling it, okay, this is Vaikuntha in the sense, the activities of Vaikuntha atmosphere are being created. And when you do that, you'll be there. And even if you stay here in material world, but if you continue to do this, even in next life, still, if you are getting associated with this, that is Vaikuntha.
It is 100% correct. So we can try our own level. So pure devotional service is 100% we can go to Golok. But now, who is the pure devotee? And my next question is, you mentioned associate with pure devotee. So who is the pure devotee? Who can define this? Definition is there. In the Bhagavatam is there, LCC, and so many Puranas are also there. But in our day-to-day life, we are seeing, we mention he is the pure devotee, this is pure devotee, that is pure devotee. But they are also fighting each other. They also have controlling mentality, their ownership mentality. And then so many places we are seeing, because suppose I come to your office, you saying, oh no, this is my office, how can you sit here? Then I go to Nigadi, no, this is not your area, this is our area. And suppose Mitra Krishna Prabhu has 10 for constantly, and he's saying, I disown you, don't come in next time, this my class. So this controlling mentality, this ownership mentality is there, but we are seeing in the, not only the small here in the Pune, all over the world, we're seeing this. Big sadhus, big mathas is there. Advaitvadi Math, Daitvadi Math.
Yeah, we have to talk about
Vaishnav. Yeah, Vaishnav Math. In the Vaishnav Math also. So how they means the people there are Param Puja, holiness, and all these things in the name, and you saying the tilak and all these things is there. But this mentality is there.
Yeah.
How can we judge who is the pure devotee, who is not pure devotee, and whose association we should take?
Yeah, so we have to, this is what I quoted in the class. Prabhupada writes in one purport, even when things there are neophytes filled in this society of ISKCON, one should associate with the spiritual master. So the association of spiritual master is available through his Vani. So if you associate with him, he'll give. And same thing Prabhupada writes in the 10th chapter, that Chatushlok Gita in the purport. Even if one is sincere, right, then he'll be dadami buddhi yogam tam yonamam upanti. So Krishna will guide. If one has to be sincere, just if you keep complaining, you will be a loser. Right? If we just complain, we just keep be a complain about this is not good. Who is a loser? You are the loser.
No. This is not complaining. Whatever we are
that is complaining means, yeah. So just if one is fault finding, this is what is.
No, this is not fault finding. What here? The stool is there. What you say? Oh, this is rose. Nice, so nice. We should say this is stool. How can we glorify that?
Pure devotee
So-
can see that also as
No,
glorification. He can.
no, pure devotee.
So that is what is the problem.
This is
The
this,
problem
that,
is
this I am asking, who is the pure devotee? How can we judge? One time he is this Mitra Krishna Guru is saying, I'm saying he's pure devotee.
Don't
and he
tell-
goes to-
please don't quote names. Just tell.
No, no, he is my friend. So
Okay,
Miss
he should
Jen
not
is-
feel hurt.
No, but another third not there. He's here. That's why. So how can he judge like this? Means we suppose pure devotee. I mentioned he's my friend.
can
and
you
he's
tell in
pure.
brief one sentence you put your question?
The question is that how can we judge who is the pure devotee and pure devotee? We seeing this thing is there.
So how to understand who's a pure devotee? This is what you are asking.
Yes, yes.
Okay, simple. So from Shastra, the qualities of pure devotees are given.
Shastra is mentioned is there. It means
so you
practical
see-
day to life. Our
So-
practical life.
So even if they may not be pure devotees, what is the definition of pure devotee? One who is pure devotee, completely clear. That's one thing. But one definition of pure devotee is one who is on the path of pure devotional service. He is also considered pure devotees. Jaise ki I gave the example of kacha aam and paka aam, right? So both are mango. One is raw and another is ripe. But because they are connected to the process, they will become ripe. So you associate with devotees. Whatever association devotees are available with good, those who are not having envious mentality or they're not having this kind of things. As in, everyone is having. There are some devotees who are not having these qualities of controllership, proprietor mentality. So you associate with them.
So many devotees is there.
Yeah.
So many devotees. So pure devotee. I am don't saying the pure devotee is not there, but in our practical life, how can we associate devotee? How can we judge the means in the current scenario? Pure devotee is there. In
What is your question? Your question is not
my
clear.
question is the who is practically
Pull on the
identify.
Shastra. From Shastra and
No,
who
the
is the
Shastra
pure
is
and who is following the process. Who is following the process now? So process follow karo. One who is living, having good qualities. So you associate with that devotees. One who is exhibiting good Vaishnava qualities, associate with them. Swajatiya, Snigdha.
Prabhuji, I'll just put the question in a different way. Maybe Prabhuji, you can correct me. Prabhuji is asking that how to identify a person who is like pure devotee, with whom we can take inspiration, associate. So like that. Means like like, as you said, he cannot be a fully pure devotee, but at least we'll be able to make little progress and not come back. How we can like understand that this devotee is jailable or to take association of his
Association, how to take association of whom to associate with.
how to choose and then
Whom
take
to associate
association.
with. So there is Swajatiya, Snigdha, and Satovara. So that is what. So Sajatiya means if everyone has some liking. You like to do Krishna Katha. Then I devotee who likes to do Krishna Katha, I do. You like Japa. Then I devotee who likes to do. So you associate with those devotees. Swajatiya. Snigdha, one is very lovable, friendly, right? So that good. And Satovara, little advanced, so that he can pull you up. This is how we feel. So we have to see anyone who's exhibiting the qualities of a Vaishnava, which we see from scriptures. Vaishnava ke kya gun hote, right? Someone who's doing prajalpa, one who is wasting his time, one is sleeping, who's lazy, and who is doing politics. Don't associate with such devotees. And ultimately, when we are sincere, when we pray, then dadame buddhi yogam tam. Krishna gives that intelligence. This Prabhupada writes in that purport of that verse.
Sometimes forcefully we don't have option, means option to whom to associate. Means suppose one devotee is giving class. This class is compulsory. But we don't have option. What should we do?
The managers, those who have appointed someone to give class, he'll having certain level of good advancement, then only they'll not put anyone who is not a Vaishnava. That means our outlook, we have a problem in ourselves. We are having a wrong faulty outlook towards
not
Vaishnavas.
faulty. Just see, means we should associate the pure devotee or nearby pure devotee or in the and
if someone is authorized to give a Bhagavatam class, we have problem? You don't like it, you hear it as a matter of fact.
Not Bhagavatam class.
Right now you
Means
told that.
regular, not Bhagavatam class means so many classes there, but we don't have any option. But we
no
see
option means Bhagavatam class.
yes, Bhagavatam class or any class.
Okay, means temple ने manage किया कोई तो class, ठीक है?
यस,
आपके पास ऑप्शन इससे सुनना है, कंपलसरी क्लास है, मतलब ब्रह्मचर्य क्लास में डाला होगा।
हाँ जो भी क्लास है, हाँ।
हाँ, तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है उसमें?
तो हम देख रहे हैं कि दोनों झगड़ा कर रहे हैं, मैं ये वो झगड़ा, और वो उधर मुझे क्लास में बिठाया, तो फिर आपने देखा कि ये दोनों झगड़ा कर रहे हैं, मैं इसका कैसा सुनूं? तो आप बोल रहे कि नहीं सुनो, तो क्या, हम दोनों मित्र हैं।
So Prabhupada writes that in one purport, in this Prachar section only comes, even if there is quarrel or enmity within devotees, in this cooperation, that verse, Varam Vridinam Bhadram, that verse Prabhupada writes there. Even if there is dispute or disagreement within devotees, one should overlook and see it as spiritual. Because one is telling that I was in accounts department, so this funds is limited, resources are limited, and institution has to run. There are different departments. So people want this resource has to be used for my department, this resource for my department. And then they are in a meeting, they managerial meeting, they may be telling this, no, ye hona chahiye, this will still no, this. They might be putting their opinion very strongly. Right? आवाज उठा के बात करने से करके. So then a person, third person will, what is it they are fighting? But then we should not see in that way. We should see that they are fighting for serving Krishna. One is fighting in this way, another is doing that way. This is what happens in spiritual world also. Where Krishna has to go for Gocharan Leela. The Gopas are waiting. Come Krishna fast. Why are you doing so late? And Yashoda, no, wait. Let me decorate him more nicely. He's not again. Let him take rest. You all go, come later. Let him take rest. Right? So they are in disagreement. So this happens there also. Disagreement will happen. But then what is the cause of disagreement is not that who is God. The people, though devotees will not find who is God. One will say Krishna is God, and another will say someone else is God. What we are supposed to chant, which mantra to chant, usme disagreement nahi hoga. Hare Krishna mantra only will chant. 480 minutes we have to follow. So disagreement will be on how to serve Krishna, and that is spiritual. Because they are trying to serve Krishna. That's spiritual. That's not material. And neophyte, and this is one level if they are doing this. And neophyte means new, and they fight also because they have their anarthas. But then the process of purifying diamonds is raw diamonds are put in a box and like machine, and then they are scrubbed. So they scratch each other and then they purify each other. So same thing, like I will not quote names, but two Maharajas, one Maharaj was glorifying and then Maharaj is Vyaspuja, and he told that in early days of ISKCON, I was always hating you, I was fighting with you, but now I love you. So it happens over a period of time. So now they are gurus and Maharajas not. So earlier they were like this. They accepted that we are fighting our funds or resources and other things. Right? I was not, मैं तुम्हारा मुंह नहीं देखना, ऐसा होता है. But then when you are in the process, you'll get purified. Same thing I quoted in the example of Bhagavatam, Diti and Indra. Diti was having that envy towards a devotee. Both are devotees. Right? But then the process purifies the persons. Even if it is there, stick to this process. Lage raho, pak jaoge.
Yes, process is correct.
Yeah, so the process we have to keep medicine. The disease will go away. Disease will go away. It will not happen overnight. To a degree, we take it sincerely and follow the principles. It will happen one day.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So wonderful presentation. To add to Bhakti Prabhu's answer with my little understanding to serve His Grace Deshan Prabhu. Our temples are like Vaikuntha. So this is Prabhupada's mercy. So everybody is trying to become pure devotees. So we should appreciate other people, those who are struggling to become pure devotees. So we should always feel, I may not be pure devotees, but others are, they are qualified to be pure devotees. And Krishna tells that everybody is a pure devotee. There is nobody is left out. Even modesty people also pure devotees, but only now they are conditioned. And that Shavanadi Shuddha Chitta, they will revive that. So by definition, everybody's potential to be pure devotees. Like you go in hospital, Sanchiti hospital, somebody has broken leg, somebody has broken hand, somebody has some other thing. So we cannot say that, why his leg has broken, his hand has broken, but they are plastered. Very soon they will revive their natural position. So we should not judge on current status, that how They are committing mistakes and all. So our point is that we should find good devotees, and some devotees may not be setting a good example, but we should not criticize them. We should honor whatever their abilities are there, whatever the shortcomings are there. If we can help, lend a helping hand, we should do that. But rather than focusing that, enjoying it, and then that is standard of pure devotion, is not the thing. There are very many good devotees are there who are setting a very good example. Like in temple also, somebody is not coming from morning program, but there are so many people are attending morning program. So if it's in your hand, you want to take inspiration from these people or those people. So pure devotees are always there. And so you search, and some people you can try to help. If we are in authority position, then we can tell our dependents to rise and help them. But if somebody is in superior position and if they are not showing those qualities, then better we don't find fault in them, but just respect their position, and we should do our best. Sometimes subordinates are more pure than the superiors. But the subordinate should do his duties, subordinately to this. That even somebody is put less qualified person on top. Like Bhagavatam class, who is giving Bhagavatam class? Our Shukdev Goswami is giving Bhagavatam class. But our audience who are there, all Narad Muni, Vyasdev, they are listening because they only empowered him to speak. So they cannot say, "Arey, get down, I'll sit." So they just followed their ticket. So that way we should hear. Otherwise, and it's the best part of our side is, if you look for pure devotees, they are abundant. Like Avadut Brahman took instructions from even prostitute. So how can we take a lesson from prostitute? We have difficulty to listen from our spiritual masters also, or some pure devotees, bona fide pure devotees. Then how can we take inspiration from somebody who is so lowly? So Krishna arranges for sincere sadhaka, anybody who can, like Prabhupada took inspiration from somebody who tell, why Swamiji you are printing simple magazines, you print books. So they took that instruction very seriously. So if some authority is telling us, we cannot deny, Hare, you are not pure devote, I will not listen. So it's our fault. We should always think, and we should take whatever instruction comes to us as a life and soul, and we should try to fulfill that expectation of our, the Krishna's element, whoever is our superior, and that way we should purify ourselves, and we should see all other devotees with lot of respect. That is benefiting to us, Otherwise, like Yudhishthir was sent with one question, and Duryodhana was sent with another question. Both came with same answer. Duryodhana was asked, find out somebody superior to you. He came with same answer. There is nobody superior. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was sent, find out somebody inferior to you. He also came back with same answer, that there is no inferior. So we have to be in the side of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So we respect all Vaishnavas and associate with very few with whom our mind gels, and there is nothing wrong with it. You cannot go well with everyone. You have your choices, and everybody respects that. But as a matter of services or something like that, we should oblige, and we should not do something which will disturb the society or services. So we should do whatever required, and associating, taking inspiration, that is your personal choice. Nobody is going to stop it. And that way, whatever is making us progress in spiritual life, we must do that. And that is what sadhaka should continue doing. And he should increase his devotion towards Lord. That's what I feel.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Bhakti Guru, for speaking on such a vital topic of Krishna consciousness. So you have done well. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anybody wants to comment back for his presentation?
Bhakti Prabhuji, I would like to say that your presentation was very nice and very systematic. And what thing I liked most was that Prabhuji was quoting verses for every point which you were saying. And I also see personally Prabhuji also always tries to hear Guru Maharaj and does very nice sadhana. And he sincerely tries to give Krishna consciousness to the youth also. And Prabhuji not only hears, but he also has the conviction, a pure conviction of the pure principles, which I liked so much. So Prabhuji is inspiration of me. So thank you, Prabhuji. Harish.
Thank you for your kind words.
Please pray that I'll also get such conviction. Harish.
Pray for me. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Ancha kalpash vas dosh.